And welcome to RacerTV.com. We're in Union, South Carolina for round 4 of GNCC. So far through 3 rounds, Walker Fowler undefeated in our XC1 Pro class, and Greg Covert holding on to the points lead in XC2 Pro-Am. Each of these guys looking to leave today with their respective points leads, but anything can happen down here in the red clay under the blue skies in Union, South Carolina. An exciting day of racing lies ahead here on RacerTV.com.
Buck GNCC, all being presented to you today by our friends at VP Racing Fuel, making power. And the power is about to be made here in Union, South Carolina, as we introduce to you our starting lineup for the XC1 Pro class. Rolling to the line first today, he has 3 straight wins in his first year in defending the number 1 plate. He hails from out of Rogers, Ohio on an NFAB, Maxxis, and Pro Yamaha, backed by LSR, MXP, and MSR, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line today, second in points, the young phenom from Bidwell, Ohio. They call him the Bidwell Bullet. Riding aboard the number 5 on a Coastal Racing MSR Maxxis-backed Yamaha, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line today, third in points, seeking his first win in over a year. He is a 6-time GNCC ATV champion, hailing from Sunbury, Pennsylvania on a Maxxis Fly Racing Amsoil EO Cycle Barn Suzuki, Chris Borage. Rolling to the line, court today in points, aboard the number 521. He hails from West Union, West Virginia, backed by CST Tires, LSR, Induction Solutions, DeRisi Racing, SG, and Tire Blocks. Welcome the family man himself, Adam McGill. On the old 250R. Talk about making a statement in today's opening ceremonies. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 14. He hails from Akron, Ohio on a BNR Maxxis Moose Racing back Yamaha, Josh Merritt. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 733, a former XC2 Pro-Am champion last year and the year before, as a matter of fact, out of Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on an NFAB and Pro Yamaha, the Coal Train, Cole Richardson. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 3. They call him the Snake, from Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR ATVRiders.com Honda, Jared McClure. Oops, that was number 11. I messed that up. That was the man featured on the event t-shirt from Manchester, Maryland on the Show Hauler Canyon Motorsports GBC Tires machine. That was LW Landon Wolf. Now turn your attention to the number 3. They call him the Snake. This is Jared McClure. And the Snake wears its ugly head here today as we head down next to our 9th in points. He rides aboard the number 10, racing here on row number 1 in 1997, the inaugural running of this big buck GNCC. Here he is now 20 years later, riding aboard the number 10, hailing from Aurora, Ohio, to GBC HMFY Racing Yamaha, Johnny G, Johnny Gallagher. Rolling to the line next, he is 10th in points. He rides aboard the number 9 from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, on a Precision Axis Waynesburg Yamaha, backed by Pro Graphics, Jay Shadrach. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 426 from Monterey, Tennessee, on a Mid-State Motorsports Land Mills Cross Country Bright Racing Yamaha, Errol Bright. And last, and certainly not least, aboard the number 816 from Green Valley, Missouri, on a Shockworks Motorsports Exit ARSFX GBC Tires Honda, Tucker Wyatt. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this, the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, as we celebrate our 20th running here today. That first race back in 1997, won by one Matt Smiley, who has been retired for well over a decade now. But what an amazing feat as we look back at over the many years that we have been making our way here to these hallowed grounds of the Turner Family Farm. We have watched this event grow from a mere off-road race over in South Carolina to one of the biggest off-road events in history here as a part of the Grand National Cross Country Championship Series. It has become a tradition for those here in South Carolina. When April rolls around, they start getting geared up and getting ready for the Big Buck GNCC. And as you look around the raceway here and around the starting grid, you can see the fans are packing in. As we heard, thousands, literally 10,000 this weekend, possibly or more, here at this Big Buck GNCC, and many of those are gathered around this first turn region right now waiting. Many more are waiting down in the rock concert area where the creek jump is located, where the hill climb is located, where there will be literally thousands of individuals ready to, well, lend a helping hand, or if nothing else, a rousing cheer as the riders make their way through this historic course on these wonderful and exciting grounds we know as the Big Buck GNCC. All attention now focusing up towards Ricky Talley, the starting maestro, the conductor of ceremonies, as he is signaling these riders. Less than a minute now. We have 30 seconds. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. It's almost time, folks. And I got to ask you, South Carolina fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Well, wait a minute, time out. I thought we were at the Big Buck. I'm standing over here right now. I didn't hear much out of that right now. I'm going to ask you, South Carolina race fans, one more time. Are you ready to go VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And roll number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at this Big Buck GNCC. And they're off. $250 hole shot up for grabs now as they round the turn. We heard someone yell, Adam McGill, oh, and a massive pile up in turn 1. It is Chris Boyd grabbing the lead, and that's Walker Fowler down in the first turn, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, we'll double check that. But wow, what a major get off we got going on there, and Fowler's going to have to start from the back of the pack, I believe. We see the Impro Yamaha guys, and that is Fowler. Last off the line, here as he goes 4 for 4 in 2016. The XC2 Pro-Am coming up next. Kevin Yohar, Marty Christopherson, Randy Hamilton, Greg Colbert, James Green, Kenny Schick, Levi Cohen, Cody Collier, Bryson Hobbs, Matt Lindell, Ryan Thompson, Rylan Johnson, Devin Masters, Duck Lloyd, Dwight Pollard, Wesley Wolf, and Anthony Herring in 10 seconds. $100 hole shot up for grabs here. Hot cams and all balls. Hole shot award to 16, Randy Hamilton out of Denville, New Jersey, on a Jerry McCoy Racing ATVriders.com back machine. As we go down to row 3 now, College A class. There he is. Sorry about that, Dean. We got the College A, Devin Feehan, Dylan Edwards, Drew Landers, Hunter Hart, Alec Matthews, Gage Carnes, also Logan Wagner, Weston Scott, Brandon Eicher, Peyton Atkins, Braden Schick, Seth Wilson, Corey Silverthorne, Tyler Creel, Wyatt Wilkins, Seth Keffer, Sean Keffer, I should say, Austin Abney. 10 seconds. Zach Jones, Tyler Ware, Shane Kittle, Tanner Walker, Bodie Lambro, and Anthony Herring. Andrew Herring. And oh, more carnage in that first turn, but they get free, the front runners. It's a 7:03. Austin Abney out of Petersburg, Indiana. Our guest starter here. John Catalano here, the dean of the South Carolina University of South Carolina here with us. He's going to be giving our 10-second call this time. Steve Covert, Nathan Hornacek, Matthew King, Cody Wolfer, Nick Mastrangelo, Jake Price, James Maga, Trevor Payne, Cameron Rogers, also Brett Cover, J.D. Brown, Chuck Miller, Noah Landis, and more in 10 seconds. Jason Smalley, that was Dean John Catalano here with us doing the 10-second call out of the University of South Carolina, the Palmetto campus down here. As a junior A are off and rolling. I missed that number on that guy. Sorry about that. As we go to the Bet A 28 plus, we got A.J. Koontz, Wes Stone, Tom Muscala, Kenneth Kelly, Jeff Pickens, Nicholas Canelli, Richie Brown, Kevin Patterson, Walt Schumacher, Joey Margaria, Dustin Hendershot, and Adam Reed. And once again, Dean John's going to give us a 10-second call for this Bet A 28 plus class. 10 seconds! And the Bet A 28 plus now chomping at the bit, waiting for that green flag to fly as it is now up, and they are off like rockets off the launch pad. The number 98, Jeff Pickens out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, GBC Tires backed rider, a former XC1 Pro rider, gets a great jump off the line, and he's going to be tough to beat. We got some other former top riders out there, including A.J. Koontz out there with us as well. Senior AB 38 plus, Jeff Range, Lane Coyle, David Kite Sr., Mark Batson, one of our media all-stars here with us, Eric Clement, and Andy Cooper, all turning our attention now once more to Rick Towery. And the saying goes, 10 seconds! Senior AB class. The 38 plus class, Big John just laid down the challenge. He says, you'd think that a Gamecock would be able to make more noise than that. That coming from a pit guy, of course. I'm going through our B classes now. College B, we got Scott Pearson, Donald Boylan, Joey Lambright, Morgan Flannery, Joseph Yerkson, Shane Pitzer, Kay Vanderpool, Michael Anderson, Justin Keller, Bobby Duker, Dustin Cooner, Caleb Hagan, Travis Spencer, Frankie Egress, Joel Smith, Nicholas Thomas, Cody Wallace, Chandler Berner, Tyler Swindle, Eli Kiger, Ethan Petro, and Clifford Gooseman. 10 seconds! And they're off. A lot of electric starters. Look at that Coastal Rider. I believe that's got to be Eli Kiger, 808 out of Waynesburg, PA. Coastal Racing getting a good jump, but it's not him at the... I can't see the number on that fella, but wow, what a good start by him. Travis Spencer, he was a Spider Graphics Cunningham rider. So way to go, Travis Spencer. He is actually out of Nineveh, Indiana. Junior B 22 plus class, Brian Felicki, Brandon Reynolds, Chris Ballou, Brett Fike, Bernardo Ainsley, also Eric Holyfield, David Kite, Joseph Scheichtel, Charles Dawson, Nick Maynard, Travis Matthews, Jay Turner, Matthew Scott, Jake Callan, also Chris Wittenberger, Roger Norman, Brian Tony, John Sutton, and Ryan Bovis. 10 seconds! Junior B 22 plus class. Green flag waves, and those starts and kick starts, and those electro starts start winding as they roll down into the first turn now. 3 300. I thought that's what it said. Maybe it's 330. Charles Dawson, yep, Kawasaki rider out of Lisbon, Ohio, on a Point View Psycho Elko suspension Hauser racing back machine. Next up, it'll be our Vet 30 Plus class, the final class here. Jeremy Gouchard, Brian Locke, Alan Tuttle, Philip Thayer, Jason Dillard, Charlie Rogers, Everett Hutchins, William Craig, also Lyle Morrison, Will Jones, Chris Bennett, Corey Blinkowitz, also John Colvin, Brian Epley, Ricky Zorn, Dale Banson, Glenn Ledford, Charles Harris, Ray, David Rudder, Matt Miller, and Matthew Bender.
10 seconds!
And the Vet B class, the last one off and rolling. Now, and I want to say thanks to Dean John Catalino for helping us with our 10 seconds here today, and of course for being on hand out of Union, the South Carolina Union branch. Glad to have them as a part of the GNCC Racing Nation, and we are off and rolling now with that final class, the Vet B30 Plus class. Over 150 out here, over 250 earlier this morning, and several in the youth, and also our side-by-side ace racing this morning. So we've had a lot of traffic on the track. We got more coming up after this 2-hour race we're seeing with UTVs. You'll be able to catch it right here on GNCC Live. But first, before we get there, catch what happens. What's going to happen now? Walker Fowler down in the first turn. Chris Borich out front. Is he going to get that first win in over a year? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
When it comes to guarding your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance enthusiast demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires. CST Tires.
You smell it, you feel it, you can taste it in the air. Speed, man. Full wide open. Blast. I didn't really like high school too much. Too booky, too take notes, learn this, and that's it. Yeah, WildTech, they have full-size motorcycles. The feeling of taking them apart every day, putting them back together. You can't explain it. Everything I learned applies to now. Seeing your motorcycle that you put together right around the track at 180 miles an hour, oh, definitely rewarding. My name's Mike. My school's WildTech.
Get on the fast track to a career, turn pro at WildTech.
I've been with Liat for a lot of years, and I know the dedication they have for safety. When they told me they were coming out with a helmet, I signed right up.
Welcome back to GNCC Live here at the Big Buck in South Carolina. Right now we're looking at one of the uphills as the leaders are coming through. That is the Big Buck Hill, I was just informed. And Chris Borich is still leading in after his start, where Walker Fowler seemed to have a little trouble out there on the start.
You know what? We've already got a story here, Fred. We didn't even get 50 yards into the event today, and of course, Walker Fowler rubbing tires with somebody. I believe it looked like maybe Adam McGill, and the next thing you know, a barrel roll, and resulting in Walker getting tossed, getting back up, and getting a start dead last in this one here today.
Yeah, like you said, I think Walker Fowler and Adam McGill came in that first turn, and Adam McGill did not want to give up his line, and him and Walker kind of touched, and Walker did about, the barrel roll, and, he's going to show us, a true champion ride today. He's going to be dead last. Chris Borich is in the lead, and out of the last 5 years, Chris Borich has won here 4 times.
Wow, that's an amazing statistic right there in itself. But what a twist of fate, though, of all things with Walker surrendering the hole shot right there. Of all people to be the benefactor, it is Chris Borsch, four-time winner here, back on Old Yeller, as we've been saying this season. And could this be the tide changing today?
Yeah, you know, and I talked to Chris Borsch a little bit earlier on today, and he said, you know, the last round he kind of had a little trouble with his suspension. He felt like the back end wasn't working as well as what he wanted it to. And they went home, they did some homework, and he's comfortable again. You know, he thinks he's got the setup he needs for this weekend. And like you said, Matt, you know, he's got the start, and he's got a good track record here. So these guys could be in big trouble with Chris Borsch out in front already. And, you know, Walker Fowler, he's not out of this for sure, or nobody else. I mean, we're going to show what Walker Fowler is made of. You know, he's got a lot of guys to come through to get to the front, but if anybody can do it, you know, Walker Fowler can. And, you know, with all the hills and here at the Turner Farm, you know, Hank and Henry, they got a great racetrack here. We've been here for many years, and we keep getting bigger and bigger turnouts every year. And the track is really good is what I'm trying to say. We've got uphills, we've got creeks, we've got roots, we've got muddy, marshy spots, which they might not be here right now because, as we talked earlier, they've really had a dry fall.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
spring, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, from the fall through, they mentioned the winter itself being extremely dry. Very little rainfall this spring, so the ground itself is extremely dry, but it's held up so good through the day's activity so far. There was just enough moisture on the ground this morning to do and stuff. It really held most of the dust down till the end of our 10 o'clock race, so going to be an interesting situation here this afternoon. But I tell you, the stage is set for one really exciting race. Nothing written in stone here today, nothing but a little bit of first corner drama and a lot of racing ahead of us, Fred.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, these guys have got a really good track ahead of them, and we've got 2 hours worth of great racing going on here. And, you know, all year we've had excitement everywhere we've been. There's never been a dull race, and this one's definitely not going to be a dull one either. You know, you can see the uphills here. They've got plenty of different lines to try different areas, so passing is not going to be a problem.
I can tell you this much, Fred. When you look at some of the elevation change, it's surprising for where we're at and the degree of steepness. That's an extremely steep hill right there when you look at Big Buck Hill.
And there you go. There goes Chris Borsch on the screen, the 6 mile mark. It looks like he's got a little bit of lead, not much, a few seconds on. I'm not sure who was second, but in third place is the Coastal guy, which I can't think of his name right now.
Well, I can tell you
Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal was in third spot. You know, the top three are all close, and there's Walker Fowler right now, so he's right at the tail end of the leaders.
This guy's already joined the lead pack right now. He's on the tail end of that group. He's back here really probably feeling himself in the bike out right now, just kind of getting settled in, because you went from all of that adrenaline, all that straight focus of the whole shot and, you know, picturing a lead to actually having to change that strategy 100% right now.
Yeah, you know, on the screen, too, we got to see when Walker Fowler did finally get everything back together, and Mark Notman, his mechanic, ran over there. They got the bike kind of straightened out, and he took off. He kind of stood up and was kind of stretching out, making sure everything was good, and then he rounded that corner and he started to take off. He put his fist up in the air like, hey, I'm good, I'm ready to go, let's go race. And so that was really good to see.
Yeah, and I tell you what that can be the ultimate motivation. That can work a lot of ways.
And there's our XC2 leader right now, Kevin Yoho, putting in another fine ride. I believe he won the last round there at Steel Creek. You know, Kevin's from Ohio. He can't put in a full year this year, so he's only doing selected events, and the XC2 class seems to be fitting him pretty well.
No question about that. Kevin is a natural in this class. He responds to the competition well, as we know, and right now enjoying a bit of a comfortable lead. Has just a little bit of a gap, and I believe that's somewhere, around the 6 mile marker, 7.
Yep, 7 mile marker. You know, in this place here, they've got some big ups and downs, and now we're waiting for them to come in down this section here, and it's like a little valley you got to go through. You know, to your right and to your left are big high walls, and you're kind of just riding through a valley. So they got a lot of really cool areas here at the Big Buck.
And as you can see, the dirt's going to change color several times per lap. We're going to get a more of a topsoil consistency in some areas, probably along the creeks a lot. Out in the fields and stuff, you're going to see a lot of clay base out there. And when you look at some of the hills, you're going to get a real funny mix of some sand and some topsoil around these low-lying areas. And they actually have run off of the hills that kind of soil. So it's interesting to see all the different soil conditions.
Yeah, and I believe too, like in the woods right now, it's not going to get very dusty like it is out in the open, because the woods actually are holding some moisture. And like you said, some of the big uphills and the creek jumps, which we can't see on TV, but if you're a spectator here, they build up some nice big jumps there, and the guys are jumping the creeks, and some guys go through them and get stuck, or you can jump them. So there's plenty of excitement and plenty of things going on here at the Big Buck. And there you go, you can see some of the roots coming on the hill. There's roots, there's rocks, there's loose dirt, there's a little bit of everything here. And, the woods are just now starting to come alive. You've got the nice green leaves coming up on the trees, so the woods are nice and pretty,
I tell you, what you're going to have today, a little bit of issue with, Fred, is going to be some shadows out there. You're going to be coming into light to dark really suddenly. We got extremely bright sunlight out here today, and you talked about the tight trails in there. Well, the reason they're tight is there's lots of trees. That's the reason the trails are tight, and the trees providing a lot of shade in there, and you're going to see the riders transitioning from daylight to dark a good bit, and that's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah, you can see some of the spectators there. They're trying to get you go up the fast way, but that's the real big steep hill, and then you got the other guys going around. So if you go up like this guy here, you're risking it, but these guys are climbing it, and they're actually gaining ground on the guys ahead of them.
The payoff is excellent by taking that hill and being successful, but I can tell you this, the penalty is steep, literally, if you don't make it or you get hung up.
Yeah, you don't make it on one of these quads, it's definitely a
we
bad
see this
situation.
Gentleman right there start to wheelie a little bit and lose some traction. I was having doubts there for a moment.
Yeah. All right, we got our Instagram pick of the day. Send us in a picture. How do you GNC live? What do you got on? What are you sitting on? You sitting on a quad right now watching? You sitting in your favorite chair with your favorite adult beverage?
Guys out by the pool?
Yeah, out by the pool. Kids, you got your kid on a little four-wheel, a little electric one. He's riding around. Anything you got, we want to see it. Hashtag GNCC live. Send us your pictures.
Yeah, and you can win a chance to be featured here on RacerTV.com.
With us.
Yep. Right now, taking a look at that hill, crowd starting to gather just a bit right there. And, of course, that's early into the race, Fred. That is mile marker number 1 right there. So not far from the start, one of the first challenges of this course. So getting you broke in and getting you ready and limbered up for this track early in the day, no doubt about it. Mile marker number 1, waiting for our leaders to come back into sight here. And as we know, Chris Borsch capitalizing on some circumstances at the start here, and the benefactor of a whole shot and a great start. A bit of a lead as they came through about that 7-mile marker. Not a huge advantage, but had clear track ahead of him and a little breathing room behind him. So going to be interesting to see exactly how this one plays out, because behind him, all the key players and, of course, a group of hungry XC2 Pro-Am riders wanting to get up there and leave their mark. So going to be exciting as we watch this one play out over the course of the next, just about hour and a half, I'm sure. We're just about, what is it, Fred, maybe 20 minutes in or so here? Let's see. What was our first lap time, by the way? About 28 minutes. Nope.
No, I think that's the morning class.
There we go. Still waiting on our leaders to make their way through. We need to go ahead and change this up real quick. But I tell you, Fred, not any surprises to see how close that lead pack was. And already by mile marker number 7, Walker Fowler coming from that dead last start and attaching himself to the lead pack.
Yeah, Walker Fowler, knows that he can't afford to let those guys get too far ahead of him. So he's got to try to get up there as quick as he can. And, I talked to Chris Borsch a little bit today again. And he said his biggest thing is he's still trying to keep this fun as we're watching Chris Borsch right now come down into that valley. And Bryson Neal is right on his tail. And Bryson Neal's been having a great year.
you know, Bryson Neal, there he is, right where he needs to be at the halfway mark, a little better than the halfway mark of this main event. There he is. He's worked himself into second place right behind our leader, Chris Borsch. So, man, I think that's where I would want to be early in the race myself, up front, kind of following the leader, kind of studying him a little bit and maybe putting the pressure on him.
Yeah, right now, you know, Chris Borsch he's doing all the work. Bryson Neal is just following him around, learning lines, and, you know, Chris has got to pick the right lines, and he's got the pressure on him. So it's kind of nice to be in the catbird seat, just kind of falling around, because those guys are moving fast. You know, he's not going slow, holding him up, so they're, you know, carrying each other through this area. And, you know, after this lap, if, you know, he feels good, he's probably going to try to put the pass on him and try to run, because as we know, lately these guys have, you know, they all get bunched up, and nobody likes to be like that. They like to be a little bit of space, be able to breathe and get a little comfort zone.
Right on. Hey, we were talking about time. We're just about 22 minutes. We knew we were somewhere coming up on that 30-minute mark. Just about 22 minutes into this one. I'm going to grab a microphone, head on out into the field, as we say. I'm going to let Rodney step in here, and I'm sure you guys have some guests coming up in the studio here just shortly.
Yeah, Matt Watson, he's a hater. I'm talking to a pretty girl, and he throws me right in the smack middle of all of the action here as we join you here on GNCC Live. Rodney Tallman along with, of course, Megawatt Matt Watson, and, of course, this guy right here, a former GNCC champion himself, Mr. Fred Andrews, who has some history here at Big Buck yourself, if memory serves me correct, don't you?
Yes, I do, Rodney. This is the last race GNCC I ever won was here at Big Buck.
And that year was?
I ain't going to date myself. I think it was 2003.
It was 03. You're absolutely correct, and we got the statisticians updating us on that. But Fred, welcome back here to Big Buck, and now from the broadcast booth, we get to watch some great racing. There's no doubt about it. How about that start, man? I haven't had a chance really to catch up on what's going on, but I know Walker Fowler down in the first turn. And
yeah, you know, what I saw, Rodney, was Adam McGill, he got a great jump off the line. He kind of let off a little bit going in the first turn, and Walker Fowler was kind of going around the outside, and Adam McGill kind of just drifted a little bit, and they rubbed wheels, which is racing, and there you see it on the screen right now.
Yeah.
You know, Walker Fowler took a heck of a tumble, and, you know, Adam McGill, he had her up in two wheels showing off a little bit.
Yep, here they come around that first turn right there. He gets going, and, yep, just a little bit of a tap. Nearly going over himself was McGill. Wow, he barely saves that.
Yes, he did.
And the heir apparent to the whole shot, look at that. He's right in line where he needs to be, Chris Borsch.
And it was Adam McGill's rear wheel that won over top of Walker Fowler's right front wheel is what caused him to do that massive flip like that.
Yeah, that's open wheel racing. That's the unfortunate incidence of that. And the fortunate thing is that Walker is doing okay. As we are down near the 1 mile marker now here. I believe this is part of that rock concert area, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, but we are expecting and anticipating some saw some traffic, or see some traffic coming through here, but you can see the fans are starting to line up, and that's one thing that I want to point out about this race is the fact that we've got a great fan contingent here. And is this our leader right there?
No, Rodney, not. They've already been through here. This is the 10-mile marker.
Okay. All right, we're going to check them out here in just a moment. They go through the, as they went through the Big Buck Hill there just a few moments ago. We'll get a better bird's eye on what things are starting to act like. Yeah, so this is lap number 1. Yeah, folks didn't get to see this because we were at commercial, but there is Chris Borsch leading the wave up the first run up the Big Buck Hill there. Then Neal, and great start by Jay Shadron. That's one of the things I talked with him about in the pre-race interviews is, you know, when he can get off to a good start out there like that, he usually runs well that day. And he said he loves to lead GNCCs. But, you know, up until this point today, no one's led a lap of GNCC racing except for Walker Fowler. We haven't even got the first lap in the history books here at the Big Buck. Not saying that he's going to pass his way up through the field or anything, but, hey, is Walker's lap leads going to be nipped in the bud here as we head into round number 4. And what is the rest of the day going to bring, man? We've seen other riders have to work their way up through the pack. The good thing about it is, off the start, oftentimes like that, Fred, it seems like such a huge ordeal. But really on the start, if you're going to have an incident, that's usually the best time to have one.
Yeah, you know, those guys are a little bit bunched up anyways on the first lap, and the leader might be holding them up a little bit. And, you know, Walker rode really hard and fast, and he's caught that lead pack. And right now, you know, for him to get to the front to lead this lap is going to be really tough. But, you know, if anybody can do it, Walker can do it. But I look for Chris Borge to come around leading this lap, first lap, because, you know, Walker Fowler knows he doesn't have to lead every lap. He only has to lead the last lap, and that's the important one. So, you know, he's gonna try to get to the front, though, because he knows he can't afford to let Shadron and Bryson Neal and Chris Borge get away. Because if those three guys can hook up and work together and get away, it's big trouble for Walker Fowler.
No doubt. These riders past the 10-mile marker now. We should be seeing them come near the 12-mile marker here soon, which will be near the finish line. And we'll find out how things are starting to sort out there. And joining us in booth right now is Miss Jessie Strawham, who is a former youth ATV racer, GNCC racer, as well as WXC. She now races the Polaris Ace, and she is also a little over a year paralyzed. And honestly, a new world of opportunities were opened up for this young lady, and she's back to GNCC racing. And I want to say congratulations to you, Jessie, on your first podium in the Polaris Ace race today. You got 3rd place, right?
Yeah, it's so great to be there. I look at it as it's about time.
Yeah, you've been wanting to do that for quite some time. I know your intentions the first time that you raced the Polaris was to get on that podium, if not win, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to be and where I deserve to be. I've been working my butt off. My team has been working their butt off, and we have a lot of great people in the woods cheering us on, and loving seeing that pink machine out there.
Yeah, I was watching her today out there. You were shredding, roosting up there, and you came around behind a whole bunch of guys, and you just plowed your way right through them.
Yeah, I rolled.
You rolled right through them.
Well, hang on just a second. We're out near the 11-mile marker right now. We missed the finish of the leaders coming through. So we're going to pick up with those guys in a moment. That's Randy Hamilton, the XC2 Pro-Am class, and that is at least 2nd place there because Kevin Yoho is leading. Hamilton is 2nd. Greg Covert back in the number 3 spot of the XC2 Pro-Am. As they came through, it was Borge, Neal, and Shadron, 1, 2, and 3. Cole Richardson was running 4th and 5th. In the XC1 Pro class was Adam McGill with McClure behind him in 6th. Walker Fowler is back in 7th, the XC1 Pro class. He's 8th overall after adjusted time, as Kevin Yoho is 4th place overall. As we watching, man, these dry conditions are certainly starting to prevail here in South Carolina. Now, Jessie, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you were talking. You said you had a crash, a rollover this morning in the Polaris Ace, huh?
Yeah, 2nd turn after the finish. We just sent her over. The first one after the finish, I went, saved it. Couldn't do it. Second one.
Now, here's the amazing thing about all that. You got upright, and you did something. You achieved history once again. Just to let folks know, Jessie Strawham is the first girl to ever take a podium in GNCC Youth ATV racing, and you hit another benchmark today.
Yeah, I did it again on the Ace. Maybe, who knows, in the future we could do it on a Razor.
I like the way you're thinking. So you're looking at side-by-side opportunities in the future, too?
I definitely, the idea has been tossed around. I want to do Baja.
Wow. That'll be interesting to see. That'll be a trick, there's no doubt, for anybody to do. So if you can do that. Oh, got a new leader. We got Bryson Neal now out near the 2-mile markers. We pick things up here on that Coastal Racing Yamaha out front. And I'm telling you, folks, this could be a bad situation for everybody, including Chris Borch in the number 2 spot. There's Jay Shadron in the number 3 position. As we look back to the number 4 spot, we saw good things coming out of that rider earlier today. That is still, I believe, Cole Richardson, and there is Adam McGill rounding out the top 5. And there in 6th place now is Walker Fowler, as he's made his way up another spot. The Snake back there, Jared McClure is 7th spot. Coming around in 8th, the number 11, that's the rider featured on our event t-shirt. I really messed his introduction up today, but anyway, that is LW Landon Wolf out there. He's running in an 8th place position in that XC1 Pro class right now. But Jessie, talking about watching Walker and stuff race and stuff, the really cool thing about that is the thing that people maybe not realize is that you came through the same era that Walker came through as far as the youth ATVs are concerned, right?
Yeah, Walker and I are the same age. We moved up about the same time. And I remember battling it out with him as a kid. And, watching him win race after race, this season's been fun to watch him take it back to youth days.
Yeah, I can imagine. It does bring back a lot of great memories for you. So that's neat to see that full circle, and it's really neat to see things have gone full circle for you. Congratulations on making history again, hon.
Thank you. I'm glad to be up there.
Well, I can't wait to see what kind of history the future holds for Jessie Strawham. That's Jessie Strawham. She is one of our, top pilots in the ACE races now. And again, you might recognize her through the Today Show. There's a lot of things going on with her. And there they go through the pro pits right now, Fred Andrews. That is Bryson Neal out front. We're in a situation, I got to wonder if Chris Ford's got in that scenario where he's like, I'm going to let this kid lead. We talk about race pace and stuff a lot. Even Walker Fowler's brought it up a couple of times that this race pace has actually changed, maybe quickened since Chris was leading a couple of years ago and setting the pace himself, and right now maybe Chris is trying to feel that pace out. What do you think?
Well, you know what I was thinking, Bryson Neal has had to work his way to the front all year long, and right now he is out front, clear track ahead of him, and I think these guys are in big trouble. He's put himself in the situation every week, but he's had to really work to get there. Well, right now he's out front, nobody ahead of him. He's just past Chris Forge for the lead. So I look for, Bryson Neal to put the hammer down and try putting some time on these guys. And if Chris Forge can hang on to him, those two are going to start to pull away. And, Walker Fowler has actually got a lot of work ahead of him.
He most certainly does. And, like I said, that pace out front like that, Chris Forge, he lets Bryson Neal take the helm, or maybe Bryson stole the helm, whatever the case may be. Regardless, Bryson's out front right now, and we're all thinking the same thing. You got to think, Bryson really hasn't had the best of starts this year. He's had to work coming from the back of the pack the first 3 rounds. We even talked about that today in the pre-race interview, the BP Fuels CST pre-race report down there, and that's one thing we mentioned. Starts have been pretty hard on him this year. He wondered what it would be like to be up front, and hey, you never know, we could be in the market for the first ever Bryson Neal XC1 Pro Class win here today at this Big Buck GNCC.
You got it. Yeah, I think it's going to be crazy, Rodney, because Bryson Neal, like we said earlier, he's always come from the back to the front. Well, now he's in the front. And was he putting pressure on Chris Forge, and Chris Forge just said, okay, go ahead, I'm going to follow you? Or, did he just pass him on his own? It's, doesn't really matter at this point because Bryson Neal is on the move.
Well, Randy Hamilton and Greg Covert, we just saw the 16 and the 21 machine. That is second and third in the XC2 Pro-Am class. They are 34 seconds behind Kevin Yoho, who is a now part-time racer. He's racing the XC2 Pro-Am class this year. He has been an XC1 Pro class rider, and he said, I'm coming back as on a part-time basis this year, and so far I think he's been in every round, and he's performed very well in every round so far. So be interested. There's Cody Collier, the 201, a lot of eyes and a lot of focus on him. He is currently 20th place overall. If you look at the XC2 Pro-Am standings right now, the Pro-Am class, looks like Cody Collier 7th. It's Yoho, Hamilton, Greg Covert in the number 3 spot. Marty Christopherson, the Wanoa rider, is 4th. Wesley Wolf, also Greg Covert's a Wanoa rider as well. Wesley Wolf is in the number 5 spot. Wesley coming off of a heated ATV motocross Pro-Am battle down in Texas last week. He was one of the top guns down there. Pretty interesting what this kid has got going on as far as his career in both ATV motocross and GNCC. He's top gun in all realms. 6th place, Matt Lindell. Cody Collier is 7th aboard the 201. Lindell's on the 303, by the way. Bryson Hobbs, the 223, is 8th. James Green, 9th. Rylan Johnson, the RJR rider. Rylan Johnson Racing rounds out your top 10. Then you got Kenny Schick, Doug Lloyd, Dwight Pollard, Levi Cohen, and Devin Masters, your top 15 in the Pro-Am class. Now, the Pro class, It's now Neal out front of Forge with Shadron in third, Richardson in fourth, McGill is fifth, sixth is McClure. Actually, it is Fowler now sixth, McClure is seventh, Merritt in eighth, Tucker Wyatt in ninth, Landon Wolf, OLW checks in the number 10 spot with Johnny Gallagher and Errol Bright in 11th and 12th. Well, Fred, I tell you, these conditions are looking at beautiful sunshiny skies. We got not only beautiful sunshiny skies, blue skies, warm temperatures, man. This is going to be another good race day as far as weather goes. I don't think that it's, even though the sun's bearing down, it's not overly hot, and I don't think these riders are going to have to worry about this. This is probably about as perfect as you can get as far as race conditions go.
Yeah, Rodney, for sure. You know, the sun's out right now, but the wind's blowing, so it's keeping things cool. And actually, with the wind blowing, it's really good because out in the open spots, it's helping to actually blow the dust off the track so the guys can even see better. But, you know, this is definitely perfect conditions and a perfect track today. These guys should be well hydrated as they always are, but I don't think it's going to be any problem for them as far as the heat goes at all. You know, the only problem they're going to have today is a little bit of dust, but like with the wind blowing, things are going to be cool. And you can see right here, you know, coming to the pro row area here that, you know, the track is just awesome looking right now.
It is, and you know, there's. I rode about the first 7 miles of the course yesterday, Fred. The track is nice and flowing. Got some uphill, some rocks. It's a little dry out there, but as you can see, it's not dusty. I mean, the dirt's dry, but it's not like kicking up dust. And visibility, there's absolutely no problem with that out there. Now, these open field sections, it looks like, oh my gosh. And I'll tell you, it does look bad on the cameras. And it is a little dusty, but in reality, it's not as bad as I don't think is what the cameras are portraying them to be. But it is dry out in the fields here today.
Yeah, you know, like I said, the wind's in our favor today. It's blowing stuff out of the way for us. And, you know, you can see all these guys going by right here. They're all having fun out there. The track's good. The conditions are good. You got some new stuff they put in. And we're riding some of the old stuff that we've rode over the years that, you know, people really enjoy some of the stuff. And this, like I said, this track's got a lot of ups and downs. And we got some pine sections. We've got some creeks and some uphills. You know, if I was Walker Fowler right now, you know, he's not in the lead like he normally is. He's back there in 7th place, I think it was. He's not in panic mode right now, I don't think. I think he's just kind of sorting himself out, trying to keep himself close to the leaders. And I know, you know, next lap around, his pit crew's probably out there right now somewhere in the woods giving him a sign. There's Bryson Neal coming up the Big Buck Hill. Oh, yeah, he's waving. He's having a good time, and he's putting some time on these guys.
Wow, look at the gap he's got now over Chris Borch. If Chris Borch is wanting to watch that pace, then he better speed up because Bryson Neal has got it laid out right now, my friends. And this is the kind of threat that I was curious about. If he could get a start, what would Bryson Neal be able to do up front? We've watched his calm, cool, collected, calculated riding from the back of the pack. If he gets up front without being pressured, you got to wonder, is he going to be that calculated? And how much, I mean, gosh, obviously if he catches him from the back, he's been running faster lap times. So it's, in theory, you can only expect that he's going to pull away from these guys out here if that is any indication. And I'm talking about even guys like Walker Fowler and Chris Borch, because that pace that boy's riding is certainly been a pace that a lot of folks are having a tough time matching. And fortunately for those guys, I think recently he's been getting those bad starts, but those bad starts are not so bad at the moment.
No, I think Bryson Neal showing coming from behind that he's strong, he's fit, he's in shape. You know, right now he's out front and he's running, and we know he can go the distance because he can come through the pack and get top threes. So these guys are in a little bit of trouble right now. I wouldn't want Bryson Neal to be that far out ahead if I was these guys. I mean, Walker Fowler's trying to get to the front. Chris Borch maybe didn't hit that perfect setup like he thought he did because he seems to be losing a little bit of time. So I don't know if, you know, when Jay Shadron, maybe if Jay Shadron can get with him, if those two can work with each other and get to the front, or you know, is Bryson Neal just Bryson Neal's day? You know, is he just going to keep on running and get more time on him?
Hey guys, Big John down at the rock concert, the hill climb. John, we just saw the leaders go through. We just got the update and everything. What's the atmosphere like down there right now? Yeah, he must have jumped off a 2 real quick. He's got a lot of job going on there. But he gave us that update. And from what we've been able to see, we've seen a lot of excitement going on down there. Bryson Neal out front, Chris Borch in the number 2 spot. We were talking about pace there a moment ago, and Price, if you're listening right now, I think we had a chance to talk with Chris Borch earlier of just about that right there, exactly, the race pace. It is it's been something that, you know, a lot of folks have said a lot about. That was coming into the season. Walker Fowler made the statement, the pace is picked up. You know, can Chris Borch keep that pace? And the thing about it is, you know, the big question that I think a lot of folks are probably thinking right now as far as Chris Borch is he having trouble finding them and the parts that he's going to need to get, or actually keep himself on that pace? I mean, is the race pace really as big a deal as what everybody else is making it?
A little bit?
Yeah, the race pace thing. I didn't mean it as the whole series. It was just Ironman last year when we were battling, and I was like literally riding around half throttle. I was like, wow, the pace slowed down. And obviously they took it. I did an interview with Rodney, and they took it out of contents, and they just started going with that. But it was nothing leaning towards any of those guys as far as the pace. But definitely the pace is where it was before. Just we're just trying to get adapted to the bike, and just struggled a little bit at the Georgia. We were right there with them, so I knew my pace and fitness was really good. And then once we got to North Carolina, I felt good, but just didn't feel comfy on the bike. Messed up on shock setup, and just struggled all day, and felt like I was a podium contender, but it was a really hard place to pass. But definitely went back home, did our homework, and feel good for Big Buck here.
Well, I tell you, that's a good way to put it, and he has covered a lot of fire after that statement that he made. But, you know, in the reality of it, I mean, we taking it out of context or whatever, if the statement was made, whether it was about the Ironman or about the rest of the year, it does bring the question, though, about the race pace. And, you know, I think a lot of questions are being answered. Yeah, that race pace has quickened quite a bit. It's obvious. And Bryson Neal right now, I think, could very well be, and I ain't trying to take anything away from Walker Fowler, and I ain't trying to overbuild Bryson Neal. I'm looking at the first 3 rounds. Bryson came from behind, closing in on those guys. Some of the fastest laps of the races were turned by Bryson Neal each and every time. The only thing is, he's been starting out so far back behind the 8 ball, he really has only had time to get to a podium position. Today, though, it's a different ball game. He gets off to a good start. He's in a position to win, and this could be huge. It could be monumental on a lot of different levels, Fred. Not only for a confidence level for him, but once that happens, it's not only the confidence for him, but it also all of a sudden becomes deconfidencing for the other folks. I know I just made that word up, but it takes away that confidence of even Walker Fowler. He's going to be thinking, you know, even though he crashed the first turn, he knows, he watches those lap times. He knows Bryson Neal's coming. He knows he's going to have his hands full if they get started side by side.
And there goes Bryson Neal right now by on our screen.
Is that those guys, or is that lap traffic that close already?
Oh, was it? Oh, sorry. But, you know, like you're saying about Bryson Neal, you know, I think him getting the start like he did, knowing that he can go the whole time.
Wow, now Shadron, I think that was Jay Shadron that just went by. We missed the leader, Bryson Neal. Shadron went by a few seconds behind Bryson Neal, and now Chris Borch about 10 seconds behind Jay Shadron in the number 3 spot. The new generation, the new era that I've been pumping up, Fred Andrews, they're leading the wave here today.
Yes, they are, Ronnie. Those two have hooked up. Looks like he's caught up to Bryson Neal, and those two are together, and they're making a run for it. You know, Chris Borch, I'm a little surprised that, you know, first that Bryson Neal passed him and then put so much time on him. Well, now that Jay Shadron's caught him and passed him and they both put time on him, I just wonder, you know, has Chris Borch gone home and thought he had the right setup? He must, you know.
That's what I'm beginning to question right now myself, and beginning to wonder about that. He struggled with setup in North Carolina. And, you know, maybe he went home, maybe he had the right setup already on it, made too many tweaks and changes. It would have been perfect for here. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, we're starting to see Chris Borich, I'm not going to say struggle, but by comparison of the front two runners now, Neal and Shadron, he appears to be just doing that. We'll know better when we see the lap times at the conclusion of lap number 2. But, you know, I almost have to tend to lean toward the fact that I don't necessarily know that Chris is struggling any. He might be having a tougher time reaching the level if setup is off. He might be having a tough time reaching that next level if these guys are riding at. But, man, I think we might be seeing some glimpses of the future and what GNCCs in the next coming years could be holding as far as the racing is concerned. We're seeing those young guys, Bryson Neal, and now Jay Shadron, and now, of course, Walker Fowler. He's coming up through the pack, but these are the kids that came up through the youth ranks. These are the guys that that Jesse Strawham, we were talking to there just a few moments ago, raced with through those youth ranks. It's coming to fruition. The farming, the crop that we planted about 10 years ago is finally being harvested.
Yeah, Ron, you're 100% right. You know, Bryson Neal and Jay Shadron, they are the future, and it's the youth right now. The youth are putting it to the old-timer. I guess is the best way to say, you know. Chris Borich has got more seniority, more experience out there than a lot of these guys, and the young guys are saying, hey, we don't care how long you've been riding these things. We're going to pass you, and we're going to do our best we can today, and right now, those guys are really going forward.
It's not a matter of a respect thing either. It's a matter of those guys want to win.
No, yeah, for sure. You know, everybody comes here to win, and right now those two are hooked up, and they're out there for that win. You know, right now it's going to be interesting to see this lap, how far Walker Fowler has actually made it up. You know, last lap he came through 8th. Let's see if he's made any progress going forward, because, you know, he's got to start to make something happen here real quick.
Well, 6th place, I think, was the last place that I last checked it. And right now, folks, we're watching out near the mile marker 2, and I'm wondering how you're watching. How do you GNCC Live, hashtag GNCC Live? This is our Instagram picture. Well, it's not a contest. This is an Instagram picture. It's a way to get featured on the broadcast. If you send them in, we're going to try to put as many, if not all of them, up there. We want to know, how do you watch GNCC Live? And we'll feature you today in today's broadcast. We'll throw you right up there. So start taking those photos wherever you are, out here at the racetrack. If you happen to be at home, obviously, or on the road watching. And you can hashtag that to Instagram, hashtag GNCC Live. Also, now our Twitter contest, this is one you have a chance to win in. This is our AMSOIL Twitter contest. Tweet your podium finish predictions to hashtag GNCC Live for a chance to win $250 in AMSOIL product. Again, you don't have to be right. You just got to play, and you got to hashtag it GNCC Live, and we'll enter you in for that drawing there on Twitter. Instagram for the how do you watch GNCC, and on this one, it is Twitter, and again, hashtag GNCC Live for both of those. So good luck to you all, and I can't wait to see those pictures starting to roll in. We have made some advancements. We only got to do one picture last time, but we're going to be doing lots more pictures this time, so we'll be waiting for those guys to come in. Right now, we are 49, almost 50 minutes now into this race. At last check on the visual scope, those of you watching timing and scoring at home, you may see a little different result right now, but it is Bryson Neal leading Jay Shadron with Chris Borich back in the number 3 position. 4th place, Cole Richardson. 5th spot, Adam McGill. And 6th place, Walker Fowler closing in. One has to wonder at this point, the next time we see these guys, will Walker Fowler have caught Adam McGill and Jared McLaurin, the boys? If you look at the time, he was only about 3 seconds behind Adam McGill. So we know that there is a heated well, I wouldn't say controversial, but a heated battle that is going on. Those are the guys that got together on the start. Not saying that Walker's going to try to redeem anything out there or try to get anything back, but those guys are going at it right now, and that's how far up that Walker Fowler's made it in the pack now.
Yeah, Walker Fowler's definitely made up a lot of time, you know, with that first turn crash. And, you know, that first turn crash was just part of it. Those two were just going for the first turn. No, I'm sure there's no hard feelings there, but it'll be interesting to see when Walker catches him. And here comes Bryson Neal through our little valley here at the 10-mile marker. Looks like he's actually put a little bit of time on Jay Shadron because we don't see him yet.
All right, so we're 8 seconds right now, or 10 seconds now between the two. We were looking at about, I don't know, what was it?
So look, you know, maybe Shadron might have had some trouble here because I thought he was a lot closer than that.
20 seconds now. 20 seconds between first and second place. We're still waiting at the 10-mile marker. And here comes now Chris Borch, 30 seconds back. Oh, 27 seconds back, almost 30 seconds, but it's Fowler and McGill right behind Chris Borch right now. We got some old school boys going on, making the battle going on behind the new Air Wave that is blowing up front, man.
Yeah, it sure looks like second, third, fourth, and fifth, Rodney, to me, unless there's a lapper in there. But it looks like we got 4 or 5 guys right now fighting it out.
Whoa, wait a minute. That's Borch all the way back in 7th. Who was the other?
I think it was Jay Shadron.
Oh, I miscalculated that. So Chris Borch is back to 7th. Now, I told you I thought that Chris might be having problems. This is what. All right, Shadron, Fowler. McGill behind Fowler. Richardson. Borch was back in 7th, and I think McClure was your 6th place ride, but your leader is Bryson Neal.
So there you go. Walker Fowler is definitely did what he had to do to get to the front. You know, he's in 3rd place right now, so he's put himself in that podium position here going into the 2nd lap.
Can he make up that 27? It'll be 30 seconds by the time they see these guys, by the time we see these guys next time. Bryson Neal, he is the true threat that we talked about. I'm telling you, folks, he is up front. He got the start that he was looking for. This is going to be an interesting one to watch unfold today, because if if Walker Fowler, and we kind of expect that he will be battling for it. So if he does, and when he does, is what we're going to go under the assumption of at this particular juncture. If he does, or when he does, will he be able to make up that near 30-second gap? Bryson Neal is pushing it right now, but is Bryson Neal really pushing it? I mean, this looks so much like a comfortable ride a day at the office for Bryson Neal right now. And we said that so many times about him when he was pushing coming up through the pack.
Yeah, right now I think there's 2 situations here. You know, Bryson Neal before had to come through the pack. He was always passing people. He was, you know, keeping his confidence up by passing 4th place, 3rd place, whatever, to get to where he's at. Well, now he's in the lead, so now he just got really nobody judge how fast he is really going. So he's going, but is he really going as fast as he normally goes? And it looks like he's putting time on those guys, but if Walker Fowler gets some clear running, you know, can he run him down? You know, that's something that the pit crew guys, I'm sure, are going to be running around from corner to corner saying, hey, Walker's in 3rd or Walker's in 2nd. It's time to, you know, get back on your game, make sure everything is good. And we got a pit stop coming up. So, you know, we got to make sure when they come to the pit area that they get their pit stop done good. They don't lose any time there. They get a drink, get goggles, and get going.
Well, historically, Bryson Neal, once he starts winning in a class, becomes virtually untouchable. We've seen that same thing out of Walker Fowler. But a couple years later, finally, Bryson Neal makes his way into the picture. A couple different variables, or a couple differences, I should say, between Bryson Neal and Walker Fowler and their careers. Both of them have had the same type of thing. It takes them a race or two or a few races to get up to speed and start winning. Once they do start winning, they're tough to beat. The only difference is between the two, they did both come through the youth ranks. The difference between that is that Bryson Neal never won a race, never got on the podium during his youth career. One time, never one time. Walker Fowler totally dominated during his youth career, and we just watched him step up. But Bryson is one of those riders that didn't really mature until he hit the big bikes, and each year that he matures, it's just that much more amazing what he's able to do. And here, what now, 2nd, 3rd year in the XC1 Pro class, and he's already top of the field?
Yeah, right. You know, we see that on the motorcycle side too. Guys on mini bikes that weren't that good, but when they get to the bigger bike, bam, they start to do good. Whether it's just moving up to the bigger size bike or whether something just clicks, you know, when you get a little bit older, you mature, like you said, and things start to happen, and that's surely the way it's working for Bryson Neal so far in his career. You know, he didn't get any podiums in mini bike, but, you know, he kept at it. He kept on looking at his dream of being a champion and kept on going forward, and look at him now.
Yeah, look at him.
So anything's possible as long as you keep on trying.
He's a true indication of hard work pays off. I mean, honestly. And you look at the kid, I mean, And there he is coming into the finish line right now out here near the 11-mile marker. Just look at that. I mean, that looks like fun. I mean, he is mentored now. I mean, this kid, he couldn't have had, number one, he started off on the right foot. He had a dad that was a racer, and though his dad never was technically a professional racer, they were a racing family. They knew what it took to be out here at the track each and every week. They fell in love with it. He fell in love with the passion that his son had for the sport, and he's been there with him ever since. And it is coming to this fruition right here. This kid, amazing. Look at the lead that he has over the rest of the field. There finally comes second place, and that is Jay Shadron in the number 2 position. At last check, we had him at about 27 seconds separating the two. And Jay had a little bit more company, I think, the last time we saw him there about a mile ago. But here, as we wrap up this 11-mile course, and lap number 2, where Chris Boric used to sit in the number 2 position, is now Jay Shadron up from the number 3 spot. Lap time, by the way, 29:13 for Bryson Neal that last time around. And for Jay Shadron, 33 seconds down now, 29:39 lap time for him. Adam McGill, 5 seconds behind, is in the number 3 spot. 7 seconds behind him, Cole Richardson, and then another less than a second behind him is Jared McClure, and then Walker Fowler's about 5 seconds back behind that. So Fowler's right there. Chris Boric is now behind Walker Fowler. So my assumptions are coming true, unfortunately, and I think that Chris Boric is having some issues out there. I do believe that they are mechanical, and for whatever reason, he's not able to push that machine to its ultimate level. Therefore, he's not able to ride at his ultimate level. And you know there's going to be some frustration at the end of this day. I got to wonder, is he going to be stopping in the pits? If so, is there anything that they can do for the number 4 and the 6-time GNCC champ, Chris Boric?
Yeah, right now I think everybody's going to be stopping this time for a pit stop. You know, we're almost halfway through this race, and like you said, you know, Bryson Neal, I noticed him come through that section here that's on the screen. The whole way through there, he wasn't worried about looking over his shoulder to see if anybody was getting close or anybody was coming. He was focused on the tracks, was looking straight ahead all the way to the finish line, you know, and that's a sign of confidence right there to me. You know, he's not worried about anything. He knows if he does everything he's supposed to do, that, you know, he should be okay, and he was flawless through there.
And I think this kid right here we just watched, the number 11 going through there, he's back in 9th place right now. Landon Wolf out of Manchester, Maryland. I don't think that we've really seen the full potential out of this kid. He came through the youth ranks. He also came through the amateur ranks and had some good shows and stuff like that. He's never been that big flash in the pan type rider, but what we're seeing out of him is progression. He struggled a couple years in XC1 class here, and he's working his way up. He's running in a top 7th, I think, overall, or something like that, maybe 8th, but regardless, he's loads ahead where he was, and we've seen him. He's got the good speed, he's got the style, he's got everything he's going to need. It's just a matter of putting that whole program together, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more out of LW in the future. And by the way, he's featured on the event T-shirt this weekend. For those of you folks here at Racetrack, head on over to Moto Tees and pick up your event series souvenir shirts and also race day shirts right there at Moto Tees. And for those of you not here, how do you hashtag GNCC Live? This is how they do it at the rock concert and at the hill climb. They're sitting around waiting and watching. Instagram a picture of you and how you're watching GNCC Live for a chance to be featured right here throughout the broadcast today. We're going to start popping those up here in just a few minutes. As soon as we start getting a good number of them, we'll start cycling through them and saying hello to those watching. And speaking of hello, I want to say hello to Will and Will Best and the entire Best family, the Best Boys is what I like to call them, over there in near Charleston, West Virginia, watching GNCC Live, and a true racing family and a true fan family. Not only do they race, but they're also big fans of the sport, and just want to say hey to them.
Here comes Jay Stradler on through, and he's the 2nd place. Bryson Neal's already gone by, and it looks like Adam McGill's still, you know, a couple seconds behind him right now. So those two got a really tight battle for 2nd and 3rd place.
This is a good day for Adam McGill. You got to look at how his year's been going so far.
Cole Richardson coming by in 4th. Jeremy McClure in 5th, and there's Walker Fowler still plugging away there in 6th place.
Yeah, so doing the math on this one right now, Walker Fowler, 4 seconds, 29:42 lap time. He's 4.2 seconds behind McClure. Another 7 seconds behind. Man, he's pushing probably close to 50 seconds, maybe almost 55, or maybe even close to a minute off the lead right now, Bryson Neal, and he's turning about a 30-second slower lap time, at least in the traffic right now. So at the halfway point of this one, Fred Andrews, I got to begin the question, is this going to be the first non-win? I don't want to call it a loss because I don't think there's a lot being lost.
No, there's too many good guys out there to be a loss. And you can see right now these guys in the pit crew are getting ready for a quick fuel stop, and here comes Bryson Neal, and his guys are ready for him. He pulls the cap off. They use the IMS quick fill, and boom, look how fast that fuel goes in there, Rodney. About 8 seconds in and out, and he's gone.
Yep, there he is. Chris Neal is Papa there, a big ATV racer himself, and man, he's got to be. I don't know, if I was him right now, I'd have goosebumps is all I gotta say. He's in the process of watching his son make history here today in his first GNCC overall win at this big buck.
Well, you know, they came in there riding and they were real calm, cool, and collective. Nobody was excited. It just came in and boom, it was done and they're gone. You know, and that's the way to be. You gotta, whoa, a little slide in there. Jay Shadron, he's excited. He wants to make sure he gets in and out.
Yep. Jay Shadron, his sister Cheyenne Shadron, racing the WXC class. I think she finished top 5 in her class today. There is the Snake McClure. I got to say, I love the way that he does introductions out there. He raises that quad up like a snake rearing its head there. And hey, Walker's off his bike right now, so this right here is more bad news. It's good news for Chris Borch because Chris Borch hasn't even made it in yet, and he's obviously having some sort of an issue, whether it's physical, whether it is a mechanical, I don't know. But Walker Fowler, you got to think that it's an extreme possibility after that big get-off that he had that he may be having some problems. Not really sure what's going on. We're going to get Megawatt Matt Watson down there to get us an update in the Walker Fowler pits to find out what's going on. Chris Borch, he's off his quad now. He's got a tool of his own, and just as I told you, something was wrong, and it's suspension again, Fred Andrews. He's back there working on that rear shock.
Yeah, sure. Look, he's either turning the dampening in or out on the shocks and the front and rear.
Well, this might be a whole different situation if he gets these settings done right. Man, I tell you what, a tough break there for Chris Borch to get those settings off 2 races in a row. But this right here, we might see the old champ come alive right there as he heads back into this race. And I'll tell you what, one's got to wonder, it's been a long time since Suzuki made one of those quads, man. I mean, how do you keep one of those things together? Well, obviously Chris Borch doesn't seem to have much of a problem in doing so. We talked to him about that earlier today.
Obviously, I've won 6 championships on it. I won 50-some races probably on it. So obviously last year was a gamble for me to take a Yamaha deal, and I thought that's where I could have ended up with my career is saying finishing, and just didn't work out. So I wasn't happy, and I took a deal that wasn't really anything. I was just trying to get in with a company, and I'd rather spend all the money that I make racing to go out and definitely do good and have fun doing it. No, not really. I mean, they're still out there. So, I mean, obviously the parts are real expensive because obviously they haven't made it in a while. But finding the bikes hasn't been too hard, and we still got a fleet of them, so we're good there. But yeah, we're still able to get the stuff.
Well, just like we said, they don't have a whole lot of problems for Chris Borch getting it. And then, of course, on the other side of the pits down there, Megawatt Matt Watson standing by with a BP Fuels pit row update.
Hey, thanks, Rodney. We're standing down here in the pits right now with Mark Knopf and crew chief mechanic for Walker Fowler. We noticed when Walker came in, he jumped off the bike himself, grabbed a wrench. You went to work on the front end. He went to work on the rear end. Can you tell us what happened?
Just making some quick adjustments, trying to get it working a little bit better here during the race, and hopefully move up a few more spots, minimize the damage there after the first corner. Him and Adam got tangled up there a little bit, and Walker got the short end of the deal and went flipping. So just, try to keep picking them off. This dust here, it's tough today, so we'll do what we can.
Seems to be in good shape, though, physically. Is that the case?
Yeah, I believe so. He hasn't said anything, that he's hurting or anything or holding anything. So just need to stay calm and see how we can do.
All right, thank you so much, Mark. Good luck.
All right, thank you, Megawatt Matt Watson down in the champs pits. And yeah, I mean, it's odd. I mean, we put a lot of emphasis on it, Fred, but I mean, it's part of the show. It's part of the hype. It's part of the excitement that's going on. I mean, you've got a champion that comes in with 3 consecutive wins. to kick off the season, and all of a sudden he goes down in the first turn. He struggles. There's a lot of questions and a lot of concerns, people wondering. But honestly, just like Mark says, I mean, you know, everything seems fine. It's just a matter of trying to pick him off and do the best that you can.
Yeah, you know, he had that crash in the first turn, so it's kind of thrown him off a little bit for today. But the key word is, what Mark said, is just minimize the damage. You know, if today cannot be your day every day. You know, if Walker can't win, well, just do the best you can and get as many points as you can and move on. You know, don't get in a panic or anything. Just do what you know how to do, minimize the damage, and go racing next week. You know, they've got a little bit of lead, you know, points lead right now, so they're okay. So, you know, they'll be fine. You know, Walker maybe have made a few adjustments. He may move up a few positions, but the big thing is he's got to make sure he gets some points.
Bryson Neal, Jay Shadron, Adam McGill, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, your top 5. It's Walker Fowler back in 6th. GNCC Live continues after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. We are at mile marker number 2. We wanted to get the action. Look at that. The crowd going wild as Bryson Neal makes his way up one of these big buck GNCC hill climbs out there. And I think that is the hill climb if I'm not mistaken. But wow, kid's on fire, man. I mean, he is not stopping. He's 30 seconds plus, 33, almost 34 seconds at the finish line. In and out of the pro pits very, very quickly. And here finally comes second, third.
Looks like Adam McGill.
Yep.
Adam McGill has moved into second place now, past Jay Shadron.
McGill riding on 2 wheels around through there as he heads up and over the Big Buck Hill climb. Jay Shadron right on his rear wheel, shadowing him at the moment. As we look back at the number 4 spot, I believe we see Cole Richardson and Jared McClure, and Walker Fowler should be checking in about, well, he had a little bit of an extended stop, so it's going to be a little bit of a gap now back to the defending champion.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, update.
35 seconds of the hill climb for Neal.
Wow.
10-4, 35 seconds. Wow.
Number 3 and Walker Fowler just went by, probably about 30 seconds, 35 behind number 3.
Wow. 10-4, thanks a lot, John. Wow, that's still a minute plus for Walker Fowler to think about a win. And I think, you know, here just past the halfway point, you brought up a good point. And, of course, we got minimized mistakes for him. But up front, it's a whole different story. Let's check in with Megawatt Matt Watson down in our leaders' pits.
Hey, thanks, Rodney. We're down here at Bryson Neal's pits with his mechanic, Tyler. Tyler, out front, got a good lead. Things look to be like under control right now. Tell us exactly what's going on with Bryson.
Yeah, he's feeling really good today, and he's pushing hard, so hopefully he can get a gap on these guys and stay out there.
Now, we understand the second part of the race this season is where he's really been excelling, so we got to be excited to have the lead right now at this point in the race, a little past halfway.
Yeah, for sure. Bryson works incredibly hard, so conditioning is it's never a concern for us. So this is definitely his where he excels, so I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, hey, congratulations, and hopefully you guys maintain this lead. We'll see you guys after the race.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Wow. You know, good kid there, Tyler, the mechanic there. But, you know, he's Bryson's got a great team. I mean, the whole team, the whole Coastal Racing team, it's a part of the two-wheel side of things. It actually started as a UTV effort by the folks there at Coastal Racing, and Scott Kiger and Eli, his son, and Neil at the 6 mile marker. That's out near the finish line. They'll go by there, and there'll be another 6 miles, 5 miles or so. Those are guys they'll have to ride. But nonetheless, a great team there, and it's all headed up by Barry Hawk. And Fred, I got to ask you, man, I mean, I don't know if Bryson had this kind of calculated riding leading up to this. I know he's always a smart kid. He was working under who I like to call the GNCC star maker, Brock Booth, there last year, and we saw a lot of maturity out of him last year. But this year, man, I mean, it's almost as if we've basically cloned Barry Hawk's confidence and put it in Bryson Neal almost, man. I mean, this kid, he's so calculated.
Yeah, you know what I think it's got to do with, Bryson Neal is a great rider, but if you look at Barry Hawk, he was a champion, and for a young rider coming up like Bryson Neal to have somebody that's done what he's done and become a champion, it's so much easier to listen to what he has to say, rather than, your dad or somebody who's never been a champion. So when a champion's in your corner and helping you, it makes a lot of sense to you. Well, if he says that, that's how he got there and he was a great champion, so I'll listen to him and I'm going to apply that to what I'm doing, And it's really working well for Bryson Neal. The whole Coastal team's really behind him. Whatever it takes to win, they're going to put in him or on his bike or whatever it is, because they came here to win, and that's exactly what they're doing. And his mechanic, Tyler, said the key thing to me was you don't have to worry about Bryson Neal getting tired. Bryson Neal knows what he has to do. His job is to be in the best physical shape he can be in, and that's what he is. So when he's been coming through the pack, when he's way back and he can get in podiums and, not even start with those guys, that showed me that he was in shape. And now with him being out front, yeah, getting tired, it ain't going to happen.
Hey, there's Chris Borch on camera right now at the 6 mile marker. He looks like he's picked up his pace a little bit, so those adjustments that he made must have been what he was needing to do.
Yeah, I think, Chris Sports has been around long enough to know that, hey, the rebound was too quick or something, so he got off the bike. He turned it knowing that extra 10 seconds he lost in the pits, he could try to make up on the track. And right now, there goes Bryson Neal at the 7 mile marker going through the woods right there, and he's just hammering it, Rodney. He's just, he's in the lead right now. His confidence is so high. He wants to get his first win under his belt, and right now everything is working great for him.
Well, about a mile back is Landon Wolf and Josh Merritt. There's Wolf in the number 9 spot. Josh Merritt was the 14 we saw just a moment ago. We're out near the 7 as far as what we saw with our leader, Bryson Neal. Here comes second place now. That is Jay Shadrom.
Nope, that's Adam McGill. Adam McGill passed him a while ago, yeah.
That's right.
And Adam McGill, I see a little bit of fire in him when he came to the infield. He was hammering it, Rodney. He was high-lowing it, and he wasn't looking back. He's looking forward, trying to feel or see where Bryson Neal is.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk with Adam McGill today, but from what I can see on the racetrack right now, I think Adam is finding that groove and that flow that he hasn't been able to achieve so far this year, that fun zone that he's been looking for. And one thing that he has really been working on is, race wins. And to get race wins, you got to really think about, at this particular juncture, about beating Fowler. And, that's a big question on a lot of folks' mind when they came in here this weekend. How do you beat Fowler? And that's just the question that we talked with Adam McGill about.
The big thing is Walker's definitely got a lot of momentum coming into this round. 3 wins. He's led pretty much every lap. We kind of struggled a little bit. Last year we kind of come off on the same foot he did. So I'm hoping to be able to dig out of this hole. We have a little bit of momentum coming into this round now. We run him down. Not very many people have been able to actually run him down this year. So we run him down from being in a pretty big deficit with this Honda. So hopefully we can go out here and, like I said, get a good start, running hard all day, come in the pits, refill my my nitrous bottle with some induction solution nitrous, and really put the hammer down these last couple laps, however many laps we do. So hopefully that bike will hold together while we're just putting a big old purge of about 50 shot in that thing. So big thing is to be able to stay with him all day, don't let him get away. And then when he pushes there at the end, don't let him pull away, because if he's pushing all he's got and you're still staying with him, it's a big mental game. With us, it's not so much about being the fastest rider, it's about being the smartest rider. And, you know, there's multiple champions that can tell you that. So, I mean, we're here for a good time, not a long time, so we're going to let it all hang out.
I tell you, man, there ain't many more colorful than Adam McGill. And drinking, I know it's a drink in this, but, you know, if anybody was to actually drink nitrous oxide, I think he would be one guy that would try to go faster. But what he's got going on there as far as his program, obviously he's got some good people behind him, and he's got, and for good reason, man, good personality, obviously fast on the racetrack, and those first few rounds is, I'm sure, as taxing as they have been on him mentally, this is the day that he might be able to shed all that weight and start moving forward. And you look at the big picture, he's not really had the worst of years, a 5th, a 4th, and a 2nd place position. It's just that I think that maybe we were putting a little bit of extra weight on him and a little extra pressure on him coming into this year, because he has been the number 2 guy, and he has been the guy we've been watching and waiting to see if he's going to be able to beat Walker Fowler.
Yeah, you know, Rodney, and he was up there a few races too. You know, he was up in the top 3 doing good, and he kind of had some little bit of problems and fell back. But, you know, a 5th place with this many guys that are so good, it's really not, it's not bad. You know, we think if you're not on the podium, it's bad. But, you know, a 5th is still a great ride.
Yeah.
And, you know, like last week or 2 weeks ago at Steel Creek, he showed that he could run with Walker Fowler, actually caught up to him a little bit and finished strong. So going into this week, he's really got a full steam ahead, you know, to go forward with him. And he's got the confidence maybe back in his game. As you can see by his riding style today, I think he's still got that same aggression and drive that he had at the last round. So he's found that missing key again, and he's back on. He's back on it.
Back on it. And again, we're looking for your Instagram photos. They're putting them together right now. We're going to start flashing them on screen. Working on the Instagram, we'll have some photos. So how are you watching that GNCC Live? Snap a photo and send it to us, and you can be featured in today's broadcast. So let folks back around and say, be watching. They're about ready to flash my picture up here, and this is how we get creative. I want to see, you know, we see this in some of the other, like Supercross and stuff like that. People get pretty creative. I've seen some of the photos from the last one that we did. There was some pretty cool ones on Sunday when we did this last race, Fred, and I can't wait to see what today brings out here for sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching with their helmets on. I'm sure there's a lot of people in their garages. Maybe somebody is sitting at the dinner table eating a family dinner, watching and listening.
Yeah, got their favorite jersey on or something like that, or the kids are out in the yard in their 4-wheeler riding around. But yeah, whatever it is, we want to see it.
For sure. We are now an hour and 20 minutes. I tell you what, folks, I'm going to take a quick moment here, and I'm going to run down. I know we're well past the halfway point, Fred. You can take a quick break, get yourself a drink, or you can sit right here and keep an eye on this. Let me know when something happens, whatever you want to do. But I want to showcase some of these top amateurs that we got going on out here. And speaking of top amateur, if you look at the big picture, Devin Fehan is a college age 16 to 24-year-old class rider. He is second in 18th place overall to Hunter Hart, who is 15th overall. So we've got 2 riders right now in the college age 16 to 24-year-old class that are battling for the top amateur honors. 45 seconds separate those 2, but look, do you hear that? Hunter Hart 15th overall. Pretty amazing. College A 16 to 24-year-old class now, and again, the XC1 Pro class, it is Neil Shadron, actually McGill, then Shadron in the number 3 spot. Richardson and McClure, your top 5. Fowler, Borich, Merritt, Wolf, and Gallagher. Johnny G now up to the number 10 spot as we check in with the XC2 Pro Am class. As we pointed out, the big battle been waging on in that one for, well, pretty much the drop of the green flag. And as soon as my computer catches up with itself, we'll be able to give you a breakdown there. But there we go. Got Yoho, Christopherson, Covert, Wolf, and Hamilton, your top 5. There's Bryson Neal out near the 10-mile marker now, Fred. So as we look in this Pro-Am class, again, it's Kevin Yoho, 44 seconds over Marty Christopherson, who's only 14 seconds over Greg Covert. Wesley Wolf, 4 seconds behind Covert. Covert and Wolf battled to the final moments, I believe, in 2015 in that College A championship. And here they are on the track faced off here in the XC2 Pro-Am. Randy Hamilton's dropped off to 5th, Matthew Lindell 6th, Cody Collier 7th, James Green 8th, Bryson Hobbs 9th, Duck Lloyd rounds out your top 10.
30 seconds, Rodney. That's the difference between first and second right now. Bryson Neal is 30 seconds ahead of Adam McGill, and then third, fourth, fifth look like to me like they were all in one big group. So it looks like they've all caught up to each other.
Well, there you go. And I got to wonder, maybe now Adam McGill might actually start to be clipping away a little bit at that lead that Neal has. It was up to some 33 or 4 seconds, now down to 30 seconds. Pretty impressive. College A now, we take a look at the top 5 here. Hunter Hart and Devin Feehon running first and second. Both of those riders are New York riders. Austin Abney out of Petersburg, Indiana, big IXCR rider over there in third place. Tanner Walker, the 926 out of Berlin, PA. Drew Landers rounds out the top 5 of some 20-plus College A riders on the starting line here today. Landers out of Monterey, Tennessee. Then we got the college, let's see, from the College A, looks like Zach Jones, Brandon Eichert, Weston Scott, Tyler Wares, and Bodie Lamoureux rounds out your top 10. Now the, I believe it's the Junior A class led by Jeff Miller, the 533 from Somerville, West Virginia. Noah Landis in second out of Lancaster, Ohio, the 602. Josh Konachek only 6 seconds back of Landis in third aboard the 411. He's out of Avella, PA. Valley Head, West Virginia is home to J.D. Brown, the 415, who's only 4 seconds behind Josh Konachek. Check this out. Fifth place, Brett Cover, 5 seconds behind him. So we got a heated battle going on for actually could be as much as second place right now. 20 seconds between first and second, but those guys second, third, fourth, and fifth are pretty close together. About 30 seconds back to sixth place, where King is sixth, Matthew King is sixth, Nicholas Mastrolangelo is seventh, James Mauger in eighth, Steve Covert ninth, and Dustin Piggott rounds out your top 10. Out near the 10-mile marker, steers, we look at the Vet A 28 plus class. Former XC1 Pro Jeffrey Pickens, husband of 9-time GNCC WXC champion Tracy Pickens, is leading this one by some 27 seconds, almost 28 over Joey Margaria. Bam, as we like to call him, aboard the 788. 806 Dustin Hendershot out of Washington, West Virginia is third. Fourth place, Nick Camille in the 161 out of Concord, North Carolina. Richie Brown rounds out the top 5 out of Dahlonega, Georgia. I hope I got that one right. That's your top 5 Vet A class riders. We look back to the, I believe this is the 35 plus, Mark Batson. He's a Media All-Stars rider, 636 out of LaSalle, Michigan out front. Jeff Range, the 129 out of Missouri, about 48.5 seconds back in second. 732 is Eric Clement out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Fourth place, Lane Coyle, the 433 from Brazelton, Georgia. 771, Andy Cooper. That's your senior AB 38 plus top 5. By the way, Cooper out of Dry Fork, West Virginia. College B class now, Shane Pitzer out of Humble, PA, 347 with a 2 minute 17 second lead, man. Pitzer's on fire today. 228.5. Joey Lambright in second out of East Palestine, Ohio. Caleb Hagan, the 405 out of Tompkinsville, Kentucky, is third. Fourth place, Travis Spence out of Nineveh, Indiana. Fifth place, Bobby Duker out of Hughesville, Maryland, on the 364. As we go from the College B class, next class, we check in our leader there, the 330, Charles Dawson in the Junior B22 plus class out of Lisbon, Ohio. Ryan Bovis, the 840 out of Chepachet, Rhode Island, second. Brian Felicki out of Poland, Ohio, is third. The 61, Eric Holofield, 316 out of Bakersville, North Carolina, is fourth. And Chris Bellew out of Laoma, Tennessee, the 155, rounds out your top 5 in the Junior B22 plus class. The Vet 30 plus class, Dell Batson, brother to our other Batson boy out there, the 671 from Ida, Michigan, in the lead there. Corey Blinkowicz is in the number 2 spot, and you know, he told me how to say that name in the off season. I've already forgotten. It's nowhere near that. We got Will Jones from the 365 from Nashville, Tennessee, 119. Jason Dillard out of Charleston, West Virginia. Philip Thayer, the 102 from Imperial, Missouri. Your Vet B30 plus top 5 now. Junior B 22 plus class. I believe that one was what we just did, right? Mm-hmm. Here comes our leader now. Into the finish line region is what we're hearing. So it is now once more the number 5 Coastal Racing's Bryson Neal into the finish line. And that is lap 3 now complete. He's just coming to the finish right now, Rodney. He's coming in Okay, so now we see him coming to the finish line. We're sitting here waiting and waiting, and now we see it. So he is wrapping up lap number 3. We go back to the top of the order here to see how this is all going to pan out. And I want
one more lap, Rodney. One more lap.
Yep. I want you to listen. There's a lot of changes this time around. One more lap.
That's what Bryson Neal's thinking right now. Keep himself together. One more lap.
Yep.
But there's Adam McGill. Adam McGill is on the move, Rodney. He is. He's not giving up with that big deficit he's been dealt right now. He's going to charge all the way to the finish.
I got to wonder, is he starting to close up that gap? But that doesn't concern me a whole lot, because I would almost have to think that possibly Bryson might be settling in the pace, and that might be what the team is telling him. If I was Barry Hawk and I had a 35-second lead over the rest of the field, I'd be saying, you can relax for a few minutes, young man, just a little bit, but don't get too much on your morals there, because there's going to be a fight before the checkers, and it's going to be led by that 521, the Mafia. The family's coming on strong, man. Can he stand against the family on that Coastal Racing machine? We'll find out as Adam McGill is laying chase right now to that number 5 machine, rolling through the finish line regions now, as we'll try to give you specific updates on their times and let you know the gaps out there. Again, we have a laggy computer today, so it's taking its time to make up its mind and tell us what's going on a I mean, we can see a lot of it physically with our eyes, but the part that really tells the tale of the tape, the lap times and things like that, is what we're waiting on. So Bryson Neal checking in with a 29.36. Adam McGill a 29.33. The gap now 35 seconds. So Bryson hasn't lost any time. He's actually gained a couple of seconds. Even though McGill turned about 3 seconds faster lap, Neal is still gained time on the rest of them, as he was 32 seconds. He's now 35.7. Jared McClure out of Casca, Pennsylvania, your third-place ride, was only 6.6 seconds behind him. That's good news for the Snake. Remember, he was hanging out in about 5th or 6th place. Now look at him. He's all the way up to 3rd, and that's not necessarily a surprise, but, you know, unless, I mean, and that's the way Jared does. That's why he got the name Sneaky Snake. He sneaks right in there on you. We didn't see him coming, man. I mean, 5th place, 6th place, okay, maybe that's where Jared's going to be settling in today, but he snaked his way right into a podium spot now, it looks like.
Yeah, Rodney, you know, Jared, he's always there, like you said, around 4th, 5th, 6th, and all of a sudden, when it comes down the last lap, it seems like, boom, he's just right there. Just, you know, he's just kind of biding his time, and he knows it's the last lap, and things got to happen, and he's put himself in a position for a podium spot again. And you can see on the track right here that we're watching, you know, the GNCC crew actually had the water truck out there. You know, they put some water down to keep the dust down for everybody, so, you know, we can see a little bit better, and the wind's kind of died down a little bit, but, you know, the track crew's doing a great job keeping the wind down, the dust down the best they can.
Wow, if they got a handle on the wind, man, that'll be a first. But nonetheless, I know what you're talking about. It's these kind of conditions. I mean, when you're looking at these types of races, Fred, I mean, these are a little more difficult to maintain in a motocross track, because you prep it the day before and all night the night before and that morning, and you get prep times. You don't have that here. Walker Fowler.
There's Bryson Neal, sorry. Yeah. We're all wrong. Bryson Neal here going through. 2-mile marker, and
I was just looking away, and I got the message there from the producer. All right, wake up in there, Bryce. I think he's awake. He's just like doing like 7 things right now at one time. Good job. Bryce Harden is the man behind the switching, the directing, and telling all the camera guys what to do, and he's got his work cut out for him. Plus, he's trying to tell us what to do.
Yeah, you know, he's only got like 10 screens in there to watch, and here comes Adam McGill right now, coming through that same section here at the 1-mile marker.
McGill still some 35 seconds or so behind. Walker Fowler, by the way, checks in a 29.45 lap time. He was 9 seconds
There's the old Sneaky
slower.
Snake. He's catching up on Adam McGill right now, looks like to me. Cole Richardson there in 4th place.
Yep, Cole was reeling in, it looks like.
I'm not sure what happened to, I guess Jay Shadron's fallen off a little bit. Here comes Walker Fowler.
Yeah, what has happened to Jay Shadron? He's all the way back. He hasn't even checked in from 7th place yet. We saw him in the pits there a little bit ago. That's one place we're going to have to get with Megawatt Matt Watson down to the number 9 pits of Jay Shadron, so we can figure out what's going on there.
Didn't Jay have problems at North Carolina too? The last lap, his bike broke when he was in what, 2nd or 3rd place? So that'd be a hard break for, you know, for him to 2 weeks in a row have trouble like that.
It would be, Fred, but at the same time, you got to look at the big picture. He can take a lot of this away. So, I mean, you know, he can take a lot away from this because, I mean, this is 2 races in a row that he's been up front. And if it's mechanical issues, that's something they can get sorted out in the future. Where he needs to be physically and mentally is where he needs, is where he's at. And I see some big things on the horizon in this XC1 class, the new era, as I like to call it. So watch, and there's Chris Borich making his way through now here at the 1 mile marker. And again, Borich is all the way back in the number 6 position. He's a full minute and 7 seconds down when they check through at the finish line. 30 minutes, 29 seconds, so a minute slower than your fast guys out there. Hey, let's check in with our Instagram feature here. Let's see, how do you hashtag GNCC? Well, Bubba Built 320. Check out Bubba Built. They're hanging out, and they're in the garage watching on the laptop, it looks like. They're working. They got the 450 KTM. There's Uncle Jim's bike. That's whose bike we got in that one. Rachel Wolf 25. Look at the pooch watching there on the deck in the sunshine with the iPad all laid out there, and somebody's doing homework. Is that trigonometry homework for T-Rich 7224? I don't know. It's geometry or something. They're doing homework, and they got on the big screen in the background GNCC Live. That's cool. Thanks again, T-Rich 7224, and all you folks for playing along in the GNC. How do you watch GNCC on Instagram? And you can send your photos in. We'll get some more of those coming up here shortly. Thanks for playing along. Also, if you haven't made your podium predictions yet, be sure and do so. Top 3 podium predictions. Hashtag those GNCC Live on Twitter, and you will be entered into a drawing to win $250 in AMS oil product. Back out on the trail now as we check in here at the 1 mile marker. Things have really kind of spread out quite a bit here, Fred. I mean, this is the part of the race. It's a lot of things go on at this juncture in the race. You take the big picture, where now at nearing the completion of the race for the 4-wheelers, like a 2-wheeler race in the last half hour, 45 minutes of the 2-wheel side of things. That's what we're witnessing here. This is where the wheels can fall off, and this is where you can get your big brakes at the same time.
Yeah, right, and this is where your conditioning comes into it. You know, you can see right here at this section, we've seen it a few times today. It looks like it's getting rougher and rougher out there. So not only are you getting tired, but the track's getting, you know, it's getting rougher. Your bike's starting to feel like it's not handling right. The shocks are getting warm. So this last lap is really hard on you mentally and physically. And this is, like you said, the strong people eat up the people that get tired or get weak. So if you're in shape, you know, as long as you keep on pushing all day long, this last lap can be your best lap.
It most certainly can.
And that's proven by, you know, Bryson Neal. He's done it all year long.
Yeah.
And Sneaky Snake, they're the same way. Those guys are in good shape. And to come this last lap, when they get the white flag, it's almost like they get extra energy, knowing that the guy ahead of them might be tired, and if they keep on pushing, they can catch them.
You know, we celebrate this year, Fred, here at Big Buck. You know, we talk about, you know, the racing, and this is a race that's been on here for a long time. This is our 20th running, so folks are really in tune with what's going on here on the racetrack side of things, and this is a good race that they know what to be looking forward to, I think, as far as all that goes. Well, I'll tell you what, man, this particular property here in Union, South Carolina has a lot of history of its own. We've got battlefields, what is that, the Tomahawk or the Black, the Tomahawk battlefield, just not too far from where we're at right now. There's a lot of Indian chiefs that are real big names around here, but one gentleman really came into here and turned things around and made his own history. Henry Turner moved here in 1973 and purchased the property, and they all made a life here. His son here and his wife, they spent many days here deer hunting together, and next thing you know, man, it all comes to pass that they have a GNCC, and well, one thing that always stuck out in their mind was a big buck on this property. So when the name came up, what do we call it? Big Buck was the obvious answer, and you know, we had a chance also to catch up with Henry Turner. Talk a little bit about what this event means to him and his family as well.
And when my son was 10 years old, I took him racing go-karts on a national series, and we're all over the East Coast. And a few years later, like 15 years later, he calls me up and says, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to a hare scramble. I want you to come and be my pit crew." And guess what? That year they needed a site for a national GNCC. I didn't even know what a cross country was at the time. 20 years later, this is what you get for asking. I've met people I would never known, made friends, had experiences. We've had almost no pushback in any negative fashion from anyone in the area, including politicians and businessmen. It's been unbelievable how they've come on board to welcome the GNCC family to South Carolina. These are real Americans. This is the real fabric of our society and our nation right here. These aren't the complainers. They aren't getting upset because what's on some sign somewhere. They're here getting the job done for all of America. That's what's coming to these races.
Amen, Henry Turner. And man, that guy right there is a real American himself. And Fred, I mean, that guy gives me goosebumps to talk to for some reason, man. I mean, he's patriotic. He loves South Carolina. He loves GNCC racing. He loves the opportunity to be able to welcome everybody here to his family farm.
Yeah, you know, Henry and I are really good friends. You know, I was here the first year in 1993 when they had the first race, and I've been here every year since. And actually, I've been down here chasing around some of those big bucks before hunting season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that I heard some stories that you used to do some big buck hunting down here. Now, what's the biggest buck you ever scored here?
Well, I killed an 8-point one year. I'm really not sure what it scored, but I know when I saw a lot of new wet, I got the name here because there's a lot of nice deer here, a lot of big bucks, and it's just fun. You know, you come down here, and we had the ATV trails and the bike trails, and I could sneak on those trails, and the deer couldn't hear me coming, so it was fun. You know, he's got a great property, a great family, and I'm sure we've got many more years of racing.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. You know, and I'm sitting here and I'm reading some interesting tidbits and information from around the area. You know, Union County was named for the old Union Church here in Union County. There's Bryce and Neal at the 2 mile, the hill climb, and we got 30 seconds or 40 seconds to talk about other things, unless, of course, Adam McGill is able to close that gap. But a church was erected here in 1765 near the present-day town of Union, and the early settlers in the area were mainly Scottish from Virginia and Pennsylvania who began immigrating to South Carolina, and eventually the Union Church became Union the city and Union the county, and there you go.
You know, Rodney, I'm not sure, but I would think Adam McGill's actually made up some time on Bryce and Neal. It looks like
through when you poke me, whenever you touch me, if he came through, he's made up quite a bit of time.
And Jared McClure and Cole Richardson, those guys are right there too. And there goes Walker Fowler right now up the...
I'm telling you, I expect this last lap to really bring a lot of excitement, and that's exactly what it's doing right now, Fred. Walker Fowler still back there in a now top 5 position. Is again Chris Borch having his struggles back there. Has dropped off at least a minute. Last check was a minute and 7 seconds back. In the 6th place position behind him was Landon Wolf. About another a minute and 6 seconds behind him. Looks like we got ourselves an update coming in from the hill. And let's check in with that here real quick. And go ahead, update. What's going on at the Big Buck Hill?
Hey, Rodney, Hill has cut the lead down to about 25 seconds on Neal. And then there's a whole pack of them behind him.
10-4, Big John. Thank you very much. Well, he's kind of cutting in and out. Thanks, Big John. But 25 seconds, that's about 8-9 seconds faster or closer than what he was when they came through the finish line there about 2 miles ago. So it is appearing that the aggressiveness that we're watching Adam ride with is starting to pay off. The fever pitch that he's got going, it's starting to close up that gap on Bryce Neal. Again, we got to take into consideration not only is the fact that he's wicked it up quite a bit from second, but we're deep into the heart of lap traffic, and as always, these final moments in GNCC, sometimes you can script it out and say this is what's going to happen, but Fred, for some reason, I'm thinking, my gut's telling me what we're seeing right now may not necessarily be what we see whenever the checker flag flies. I'm not saying that Bryson Neal isn't necessarily going to win and keep it up front at this particular point. But what I'm saying is, be prepared. We can see a mix excitement before the checkers do fly.
Yeah, Rodney, here comes Bryson Neal out here in the middle right now. We'll see if we'll get a little split time on him. But, you know, Bryson Neal, he's not slowing down a bit. He's still going full gas. You can see him riding the wheels off that thing, you know.
Right. That said 2-mile marker a few minutes ago. That's actually the 5-mile marker hill climb. I think our graphic was wrong because we're at the 6-mile marker now, and there went Bryson Neal through. And again, man, not really pushing, but what
Here's Adam McGill coming through the dust right here, and it sure looks like he's a lot closer than 25 to me.
20 seconds. He's closed off another 5 seconds. I'm going over to Channel 1 right now. Hey, track crew, this is Rodney. We are into the last and final moments of this last lap, like the last half a lap. The gap has gone down from almost 35 seconds now down to 20 seconds. Adam McGill's closing in. If you guys can keep an eye on that and keep us up to date, we really appreciate it.
And there goes Walker Fowler right there through the dust, too, at the 6-mile marker.
Yeah, 10-4. Yeah, definitely looks like McGill's trying to push towards him there towards the end of this lap.
That's the same thing Adam McGill did last race. You know, in the last lap, he actually put his head down and caught up to Walker Fowler.
Yes, he did, and now he's top 3 is Neal, McGill, and according to this, Jared McClure, the number 3. So 5, 5, 2, 1, and 3. So we got the track crew on this one, and they're watching. I mean, even that, I mean, that's changed so much. Well, Chris Borch having his issues, man. You talk about the golden child being handed to you. I mean, you had it handed to you today, and Chris Borch had the opportunity to make up a lot of ground on Walker Fowler, except for and also the number 5 of Bryson Neal. But now Neal's out front, and Walker's ahead of Chris Borch, and Chris is still struggling back there, so he's still got a pretty deep hole to try to dig himself out of at this particular point.
Yeah, Rodney, and I too think it shows that, you know, back in the day, if your bike wasn't perfect, you know, you could probably get along with it, maybe still get the win. But nowadays, these guys got the bikes set up so well and so perfect for every track. If it's not right,
you can't miss them.
Yeah, if you miss it, you miss it. There's too many guys out there that are fast now that if you're off a little bit and they're on, they're gone.
There is the number 4 that is feeling the effects of just exactly that right now. Chris Borch there at the 6-mile marker. At the 7-mile marker, a full mile ahead. There is Bryson Neal. We're going to be keeping an eye on where the number 521 of Adam McGill is at this point. We were down to near 20 seconds from about 34, almost 35 seconds.
There he is.
McGill now, and 19 seconds.
And look, there's Jared McClure right behind him. So we got a race for first, second, and third, Rodney.
Well, I'll tell you what, the new wave and the new era of GNCC might be leading
and there's Cole
here today,
Richardson.
but the old school boys still got lots of fight left in them, and this might be a gloves-off battle by the time they reach the finish line here. I think that Bryson Neal may be about to get the taste of old school GNCC, but then again, he might shove it in their face and show them the new era.
You know, Rodney, too, it doesn't matter how far, you know, Bryson Neal would win this race by if he does, whether it's a foot or 40 seconds. So he knows all he has to do is keep that thing on 2 wheels.
4.
And yeah,
well,
4 wheels, sorry.
At least, well,
if he's on 2, he's in trouble. But keep it on 4 wheels, and if Adam McGill did catch him, he's got to get around him.
Yes, that's going to be the big trick right there.
There's 2 battles ahead for Adam McGill.
There is. You're absolutely right, because, you know, the conditioning level. We heard Tyler talking about it in that report there with the Megawatt a few moments ago. Conditioning is something they are not concerned about. If you look at Bryson Neal, he is he's a true specimen of physical conditioning. I mean, he's like the poster child of physical conditioning if you take a look at him.
Yeah, and you know, like we talked about that earlier, you can see by his results, he gets stronger as the day goes on. So it's going to be, you know, only takes 1 lap rider, Rodney. They get a lap rider, boom. It's a bumper to bumper, get out of my way kind of race.
That's all it takes. And we're waiting with bated breath. Neal, McGill, McClure. Now back to Cole Richardson. It was another 7 seconds at last check. Walker Fowler was another 10 seconds, 11 seconds back of that. So you look at that right now, it's still kind of iffy and possible that we might see it still change, and Walker Fowler may not necessarily be done yet either. So You know, I'm not counting out the number 1. We've seen crazier things happen, but at this point, I almost got to think that Walker's thinking, I got 3 wins already. Why push the envelope, drop myself out of top 5? I'm right where I need to be as far as this championship title is concerned. And Bryson Neal's my closest competitor. He's winning right now. If he wins by even more, he's going to gain more. So I got to ride smart.
Yeah, I'm sure Walker Fowler's, you know, he's not riding over his head right now. He knows he's managing his damage that's happening today. He's just going to get what he gets, but, you know, even if he, right now he's in, you know, 5th place. We're talking like 5th place is bad, but it's not. You know, to win a championship, you got to be consistent, and he's being consistent.
Very consistent. An hour and now almost 47 minutes into this race. And Fred, I'm getting excited. I got to stand up for this one, man. I got to stand up because we are about ready to roll into the finish line here in a calculated leader says 9 minutes. And we are about to witness, very likely, history in the making. Another youth rider working his way through the youth ranks, through the amateur ranks, into the pro class, and to capture his first GNCC win, a day of first, a race of first here at this 20th annual Big Buck GNCC. We've talked to so many people that have gotten their first wins here, and even yourself, man, you've even got a big last win here, which is one of the first memories that you have whenever you look back on your illustrious career. So another first could be taking place right here today as Bryson Neal, the protege now of Barry Hawk, one of the winningest GNCC racers of all time, a 7-time ATV and a 1-time motorcycle champ, an 8-time GNCC champ with 67, make that 68 total wins, I believe, for Barry Hawk, and he is now looking at living vicariously. Can't we say this is win number 68, 69 for Barry Hawk if Bryson Neal takes this win? Though he's physically not out there on the track, I know that emotionally he's riding high in the saddle right now with Bryson Neal.
Yeah, Roddy, you know, that's the same way. When you take over running a team like Barry is, you know, your guys are like you. When they win, you win. It's the same feeling as you're out there riding that bike. So if Bryson wins, you know, Barry's going to have that same feelings that he had when he won for sure. The only difference is he's not going to get the paycheck like he did when he won.
You never know. Barry might have a nice little contract over there, right? But regardless.
Yeah, either way, it's a great feeling.
The paycheck, the payoff for Barry Hawk right now is seeing what he's about to likely witness here, and that is to see that young rider in Bryson Neal take to the center of the box and begin what I'm sure many are expecting to be a very illustrious career. And with that, another player in the ballgame, another rider capable of wins and proving that the talent pool only gets deeper, and this championship, to win the championship, only gets tougher. And here's the funny thing. All of a sudden, Bryson Neal is becoming a major player in the championship, even though it's only 4 rounds in. Consistency always seems to be on this kid's side. He might be in at the end of 13 rounds. Don't count this kid out for a possible championship contender this year.
Yeah, for sure. Consistency's it. You know, you can't afford any DNFs. If you can be in the top 5 every race, that's, you know, that's your goal. But if you can be top 3, that's perfect. But with the field they have in this GNCC, you know, if you can get top 3 every time, it'd be a miracle, really, because there's so many good people.
All right, here's our winner of the Twitter contest.
All right, I won.
Derek Eagle, you got a fan? I got a fan. I got second place. He picked me for second and Barry Hawk for third. But Derek Eagle at DEagle491, the winner of our AMSOIL Twitter contest, he picked Fred Andrews, Rodney Tomlin, Barry Hawk. Though he's way off on today's calculations, he did hashtag it GNCC Live, and that is our only requirement, Fred. He picks up $250 from AMSOIL. Thanks a lot, Derek. We appreciate you playing. Appreciate the support, too.
We sure do, man. We like that. And I think, man, Barry Hawk, he's got to be right now on pins and needles. You know, it's be his first win as a team manager. Right now, here comes Bryson Neal at 30 seconds.
Marker.
So let's get a little time on him and see what's going on here.
10-mile marker. We're 2 miles away. The Bidwell Boa is about to hit the target right smack dab in the center of it, my friends. Bryson Neal is trying to motor on home. He's got less than 2 miles to go. Actually, more like a mile, because we go from the 10 to 11 here to the finish line. Where is Adam McGill?
I think we missed him.
Is he?
I think we missed him. I think when the camera was panning back, I think Adam McGill went through that valley.
I think he did. Now, it's not out of he's still in it. He's closing up hard. He's closing up fast. The lap traffic is right there. Can Bryson Neal, though, keep that gap open enough? Can he keep the number 521 of Adam McGill far enough back to be able to claim his stake in history here today at the Big Buck GNCC?
And, you know, Rodney, with that camera panning back like that, I mean, that was only seconds. That could be like 10, 15 seconds. So Adam McGill could be even closer than what we think.
That's what I'm saying. We are still up for grabs as far as this win. It is not in the bag yet for Bryson Neal. A number of things can happen. Lap traffic, mechanical malfunctions, rider error, and Adam McGill could be another major factor we got to throw into that one. So there's a lot of elements between now and the checker flag for Bryson Neal, but every turn of the wheel gets him one step closer to making things happen here at this Big Buck GNCC. How much longer before our leaders make their way in? Calculations, according to our timing and scoring, say that we are just now 4 minutes out from a checker flag. 4 minutes away, and Jared McClure back in the number 3 spot. Cole Richardson 4th and Walker Fowler 5th. Here's the interesting thing to point out about that. That was a tight battle also. That could change the face of that one before it's all said and done as well. We still don't know how this race day is going to finish, and we are less than a mile from checkers here in the GNCCs.
One thing's for sure, Rodney, we've never had a boring race this year.
No.
Every time you're on your feet, we're excited to see the finish, waiting for them to pop out in the woods. And the good thing about this race is when they pop out in the woods, we've got all those big giant S corners. So if there's going to be pass to be made, you could definitely do it out there, and we'll be able to get it on film, and we will be able to see it.
So here we go. We wait with bated breath. We are now about 3 minutes or less. Chris Borch making his way through at the now 10-mile marker. He is 6th place scored on timing and scoring at the moment. A day that he's been able to salvage, even though he could have really capitalized today. It's now turned into salvaging, so that right there shows you the true efforts and heart of a champion as he's having to dig deep. Even back there in the pack, he has not slowed down. He is not trying to push any whatsoever. I'm telling you, it won't be long before Chris Borch is back on top himself, but when he reaches the top, he's going to have to push away a lot of folks, a lot of young ones up ahead of him, including the likes of, well, obviously Walker Fowler and the likes of Bryson Neal, Adam McGill, and even his old buddy Jared McClure. All these guys up front are staking claims in this GNCC Racing Nation, the ATV racing for 2016. And Chris Borch has got to get his flag ready, and he's got to get ready to plant that one here in the coming rounds. It's not going to happen this round, because today the flag is being planted by Bryson Neal. He's laying claims to this Big Buck GNCC, and we'll see whether or not in, about 2 minutes or less now, whether or not Bryson is going to be able to hang on to it. Again, the changes could be coming. Adam McGill closing up fast within 20 seconds. Actually, it was up to 19 seconds. We were looking maybe 15 to 10 seconds. That the last time they went through, we didn't get a clock on it. It happened so fast. McClure wasn't far behind him. Richardson and Walker Fowler were not far behind them. They're basically within striking distance of each other, and any moment a change can happen, and chances they're happening right now, back and forth as they battle to the checkers right now in this final lap. We are an hour and now 54 minutes, almost 55 minutes into this heated contest, the 20th annual BP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. And again, waiting with bated breath. I hear some fast machines off in the distance right there. I don't know if that's them heading toward the finish line yet or not. But we watch now here at mile marker number 11, the closing moments of this ATV race here at the Big Buck GNCC. Do want to remind folks we will be broadcasting live again the UTV race shortly after the conclusion of the ATV race, so make sure you come back and join that. But right now, Fred Andrews, we are waiting for the number 5 machine to show his face coming out of those trees.
Yeah, Rodney, like I said, it's going to be exciting here. Will they be together, or will they be, will all three be together? At the last point, it was amazing how close they were. And right there they were. I think that was Adam McGill leading it.
That might be. I think that definitely was Bryson Neal. Yep, maybe. Yeah,
Adam McGill is taking the lead.
Adam McGill has moved into the front and says, not today, young Bryson Neal. We're going to move to the front of the pack, and there he comes. The Mafia has moved to the front, and he is trying to take it to the checkers. And wow, what a ride by Adam McGill. Not only does he make a statement here at the Big Buck, but his first big statement of 2016. Adam McGill came out to play today, and he takes the win here at the Big Buck GNCC.
Wow.
Wow. Now, I told you, man, I was getting super excited for Bryson, but we saw what was going on back there with Adam McGill. We knew that there was a possibility that McGill was going to be closing in hard and fast on this one. But you know what? Lesson learned by Bryson Neal. But it shows also the true heart and determination. Anybody that doubted Adam McGill, right there is your answer. Don't doubt the 521.
You know, and Adam McGill said at the last round that he was thinking about getting a job or something, wasn't he?
He was talking about retirement.
Yeah, look
stuff.
At him now. You know, it'd be interesting to see what actually happened to Bryson Neal. You know, did he make a mistake? Did he catch a lapper, or did the Mafia just pounce
there were
on
green
him?
shirts galore out there, I can tell you that right now. And Bryson Neal just moments away from history. The tail of the tape on this one is going to be interesting to find out. You know, Bryson rode the ride that dreams are made of, but unfortunately, the dream comes up a little short today. But that only makes it that much sweeter, Fred, when it finally does come around. If he can get a start again whenever we head to the next South Carolina round here in a couple of weeks over at the Bullet, hey, it only makes sense. The Bidwell Bullet wins his first race at the South Carolina GNCC Bullet. Maybe that's what we're setting the stage here for. The stage is being set for Bryson Neal to take that monumental win here in a couple of weeks. But right now, we have got some exciting stuff about to take place down there on the podium. Adam McGill taking his first win of 2016. Bryson Neal in second. And the Snake takes the number 3 spot. Jared McClure in third. Cole Richardson is fourth. Walker Fowler comes across the line in 5th place. GNCC Live continues with podium presentations and more right after this.
When it comes to protecting your engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance truck owners demand. AMSOIL provides 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard, extending the life of pistons and cams. Give the vehicle you love the above and beyond fortification it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Maxxis Tires.
Here at Rocky Mountain ATV MC, our goal has always been to get you the best price and provide quality service. Now, we're giving you one more reason to shop with Rocky Mountain. We call it Quick Cash. It's simple to get. Just place an order with a qualifying Quick Cash item and get cash to spend on your next order. Try it out today. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
The Andersons discovered life is easier with an Outlaw RV. The Outlaw is a complete home on wheels with a multifunctional garage. Getting on the road has never been quicker. The Outlaw is made to fit the lifestyle of today's active families. So stop roughing it and start enjoying your weekends. Find the Thor Motor Coach Outlaw that fits your needs at GarageRVs.com today.
I'm a sore loser. I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me. Be the best. The best. The best. You have to have the best equipment under the hood. That's why I only use Cometic products in my engines. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket for those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as we watch a little bit of yesterday's action at the local Christian Academy as these kids were treated to some pretty cool GNCC races. We see Cameron Avey there, one of our youth riders. There's Stu Baylor from out of South Carolina. They go to schools and they talk about the importance of being, well, being normal. And, I mean, how normal everybody is normal. I mean, I think Matt Watson said it best, you know, everybody has the same value. He takes a $20 bill, he wads it up, and he takes a freshman, he says, which one of these is more valuable? And I tell you, which is more valuable? They're both the same value. And that's the one thing they try to reiterate. No bullying and things like that, and they take a lot of folks out to check that out, and they get to see that, you know, what we're made up here in the GNCC Racing Nation, and the kids love it. We invite them out. We give them tickets to come out and watch the races, and we welcome all the kids that are here with us as we watch right now the celebrations. This has been a long time coming celebration for Adam McGill, because as great as things were last year and getting the wins, man, I know that there was a lot of frustrations for him, you know, wanting to be where he's at on a more consistent basis. And now that he's there and he's found that combination again, you know, we might be seeing a lot more of this in the future. And, you know, I thought we had some big things coming today, Fred, and I thought this was going to set the tone of what the rest of the year was like. For some reason, round 4 this year in particular seems to be the one to do just exactly that. And I think the tone was set today. It may have looked established those first 3 rounds, but everybody's coming out. Every race, they all come out. They all have one goal in mind, and that's to do the best to win, and ultimately to win. And Adam McGill pulls it out of his hat today. Bryce Neal's going to be another one that's going to be tough to beat in the future. But can Walker Fowler rebound 5th place? It's not the end of the world by no stretch of the imagination. He knows that as much as anybody. But it sure is a lot of confidence for the rest of those guys out there.
Yeah, for sure. You know, Adam McGill, he's just, right now he's on top of the world. You know, he started out good and had some problems, and he's gotten gradually better each race. And then 2 weeks ago, he got a bad start, came through the field, and ended up second, catching the leaders. Well, this race, he comes from the back again, and he's got that never-die attitude.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Bryce Neal does. So that's kind of interesting to see what really happened with those two. But, you know, you can see by Adam McGill out there today, he had that different look in his ride and style, and he was just really going after it, and he was letting it hang out, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
and then for him to pop out of the woods like that in the lead, it was crazy, you know.
A lot of fire and a lot of desire in Adam McGill right now. And rightfully so. I mean, this is the kid that's supposed to be second in points. He was the number 2 guy that we were looking at, and the guy that we're supposed to be the one coming into this season that would be challenging Walker Fowler for the championship. As we know, the hype and stuff kind of overlooked him. That frustrated him, I think. But even with that, he's able to rise above all that, and you see what it's done. It's been that fuel to the fire that he's been looking for. What it has been, that's those first 2 rounds anyway, that kept him back. There's a lot of things. I mean, those were 2 non-typical GNCC races. The sand track in Florida, different than what we expected or what the riders expected it to be. Georgia was a totally different beast and animal than what folks expected to be. So missing setup in something like that makes a little bit of sense. Round 3, North Carolina, that's pretty much a given. But, again, conditions were a little bit wild and crazy there. But we saw McGill on the right track, like you said, pushing in late in the race and getting that second-place position. Here we see him today. It's the old Adam McGill. So, man, we got good things on the horizon. Again, you know, Bryson almost did it, but almost is not it. It is Adam McGill that is your big buck GNCC champion for the 20th running, man. And that itself, I think, holds some prestige. Not only winning the big buck, but when you win a big one like the 20th annual, that's got to be pretty special too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, there's a lot of history with this track and the GNCCs. And, you know, Adam McGill, he's just he's on confidence right now. You know, this is a little bit of boost that he needs for the rest of the year. And, you know, this could be a big upswing for him. You know, Walker Fowler had a bad day, but, you know, 5th place isn't a bad day. You know, he got in that big first turn crash. He minimized the damage, like, you know, Mark Notman said, and he got 5th. So he lost some points, but he's got a few points he can lose. But he's still in the points lead, so that's the main thing. So they'll work on, you know, trying to get through the first corner next time clean, and they'll be back after it.
Check out the trophy that Adam McGill is holding right there. It's a buck-handled knife there.
And then it's got a deer shed on the other side, which, you know, is fitting for this place. Every time GNCC has come to different events, we have a cool trophy, and it's really special to have something like that on your wall at home.
Yep, there's Miss Lindley, Miss South Carolina. That is Lindley, I think, Thayer, if I'm not mistaken, and she is going to be competing for Miss United States, representing California, South Carolina. What's she doing here in Carolina? She's representing California. No, she's representing South Carolina. And again, the beauty queens come out for the GNCCs here at Big Buck. The politicians, we had the dean of the University of South Carolina Union campus here with us this morning. He was helping with the 10 seconds, the guest starters. So really appreciate him being on hand with us. And we are about to get things underway down on the podium. Looks like Megawatt Matt Watson is ready to go as we throw it on down to the Maxxis Victory Circle.
Hang on one second, folks. Now we got it. There we go. Hard to adjust with the bikes going by, that's for sure. Hey, South Carolina, let's make some noise for an amazing race today. Let me hear it. Right down to the very last couple corners, an amazing race taking place here today in South Carolina. We're going to talk first to our third place rider right now, Jared McClure. Jared, tell us a little bit about this race, man. It was an intense pace today, a lot of lead changes, a lot of action out there on the track.
Yeah, it was definitely a fast race today. Everybody was really on it. It was intense from the get-go. I mean, I was pretty far back, and I got to see. I think a couple people crashed. I seen Chris Borch was off his quad. I don't know if he crashed or what. Hope he's okay. Yeah, like I said, I just kind of ran my own pace and slowly worked through. Some guys had some issues. Shadron stalled it and allowed me to get by him and Cole. So that was kind of an easy move for me there. Put me up into third, and then I was able to run down Adam here, and we hooked up and started pushing. And at the end there, we started seeing Bryson. I don't know if he had issues or what, because I couldn't see him for a while. I thought he was gone, but like you said, it came right down to the wire, and it was intense and fun all day.
Right on. I can tell you this much: the intensity level was just incredible, amazing from you guys. I know that you couldn't do it without a lot of help, and I know that you have a lot of help behind you and a lot of people that you want to thank.
Oh, sorry, the dust. Yeah, like you said, I want to thank my pit crew. My girlfriend, Sierra, came today. Ricky was helping with gas. My buddy, Coyote, out in the woods, giving me lines. Then definitely want to thank all the sponsors. DWT, Tires and Wheels, Elka Suspension, HMF, IQ, Spider Graphics, Mark Spataro from Motorpro Training, Texera Tech, Impact Solutions, Bellray, ATVriders.com, Harlan Foley's a big help always for me. Sorry. Definitely got to thank Bowers Motorcycle Supply, John Bowers, Scott Goggles, Moose Racing, Precision, KG Power Sports, Motion Pro, DP Brakes, Hot Rods, Sunstar, Power Mad, top of the podium, Baldwin for this awesome motor, Tire Balls, Dark Star Motor Coatings. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for the fans, everybody out there cheering me on. It was a good day.
Awesome. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, third place today, Jared McClure. Now we'll make our way to the other end of the podium here. They always smiling. Bryson Neal, man, I want to tell you something. You know how to make it exciting. That's all I'm going to tell you. Listen to that fan club out there you have right now. I tell you, when you guys took off, when you pulled out and you started gaining lap after lap after lap, what was going through your mind?
I mean, honestly, all I could think about was whenever I was a kid coming here watching all these guys race, I mean, I was in all these kids' shoes, and there's so many little kids out there, youth riders cheering me on. It was pumping me up. All the fans, everyone out there cheering me on today. It just made me want to push that much harder. I mean, we got out to a pretty good start, fourth going into the woods, and I don't know, man. We just started making moves. I felt really good. And I found myself in the lead, and then all of a sudden I got the pit board 15 seconds ahead, 20 seconds ahead, 30 seconds ahead. I was like, oh man, I'm going. I just kept my head down and kept pushing as hard as I could and tried not to make any mistakes. And on that last lap, or those last 3 miles, I saw them coming. I was going down this ridge, and they was coming up this ridge. I was like, oh, I gotta put the burners on. So I started putting the burners on, and I clipped a little tree right over there in the pine section. Had to get off my bike, move it back over. Adam caught me. And right as we was coming out of the woods over here, there's a banner that was actually up all day long. And the banner it was actually down whenever I came through there, and I didn't go around, and I went around the northwestern, and Adam got me right there, and we fought all the way to the end trying to get the pass back, and here we are. But I can't thank my team enough. My team, they were great today. My bike was great. Everyone in my corner, thank you very much. All my sponsors, past and present, helped get me to where I am today. Thank you very much. I couldn't have done without you.
Bryson, congratulations. Second place here today, you guys, Bryson Neal. Yeah, listen to that, my man. How good does that feel?
Oh, man, there's no words.
Right on. And one more time, over here in the middle of the podium, here he is, the wild man himself, Adam McGill on that number 521 Honda. Awesome. Listen to that fan approval, man. They're loving this win here for the number 521 machine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had a long day right off the start. I hit the button, that nitrous kicked in, the induction solutions pulled me hard right off the line. Baldwin engine, CST tires hooked up great, Dirtworks 24-volt system, and then, I don't know, I guess me and Walker got greedy, kept bumping each other, and after that I was like, well, I guess we'll go from the back again. So that's what we had to do.
Right on. I asked you a little bit ago, at this point in the season, you know, what does the win mean? And you said, well, not as much as you think, because we got a lot more wins to get.
Yeah, everybody's like, why don't you do some racing around home? I'm like, there's a lot of summer left to race. So, I mean, it's just one that I could take home that I haven't won since 2008. And it's just another stepping stone for, you know, this RG Motorsports Honda to get back up there again. We got one more South Carolina. CST's title sponsor of it. And look out, because we're going to burn this thing to the ground.
Well, I tell you what, man, an amazing performance. Anybody else we want to get on that thank list?
Oh, for sure. You know, my mom and dad for everything. My fiance, Haley, she's watching at home going nuts. CST tires, like I said, hooked up great all day. Induction Solutions with their nitrous setup on the start, just hooking up like crazy. Lone Star, DeRisa Racing tire blocks, Spider Graphics, Custom X shocks worked amazing. Lone Star with their DC Pro component. FMF, GoPro, Get It Performance, Hyper Wheels, you know, never let me down all day. Cycra, ODI, Dirtworks, like I said, with the 24-volt, UPP, Wiseco, Vanilla Gorilla, Leat, keeping me safe, Flex Bars, IMS, Twin Air, Sunstar, Pirate MX, Moose Gear, looks good all the time. DP Brakes for whoa, this big pig. Scott Goggles, Works Connection, RGR with their McGill line of product. You guys ought to check them out. Streamline, Quad Tech, Throttle Out, Boys and Alliant. Mayor, Outerwears, Bel-Ray, All Balls. And, you know, like I said, the RG Motorsports Honda, damn, she feels good up here at number 1.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. There it is, Big Buck, your winner today, Adam McGill. Happy birthday. We're going to stand back. These guys know exactly what to do with these bottles. I want to tell you, Bryson, a bunch of these guys look really thirsty right here in this area. I think they need a drink.
Well, as we always like to say at GNCC, to the victor goes the spoils. And Fred, the spoils in GNCC, as always and has been for so many years, that sweet, sweet spray of champagne. Look at that. Those guys are standing up there taking it all. They love it. They're celebrating victory with them. Jared McClure very happy. Adam McGill very happy. And obviously, Bryson Neal has got to be ecstatic. You know, you think, what a letdown, not able to get that first win. But I think Bryson knows as well as anybody we are. Look at that. We got, yeah, both those Ride Red crew riders right there. Both Honda riders, if you will, over there as Bryson Neal throwing out the swag. But, yeah, like I said, man, I mean, they call Bryson the Bidwell Bullet, and I think the Bullet is the name for the next GNCC. That might be the place that it happens for that youngster. And Bryson knows he's got a lot to come, and, you know, a good learning experience for him today, I think.
Yeah, you know, Rodney, if I heard Bryson Neal right, he said that he came up to an area and like a banner got moved or down or something like that, and he kind of messed up and took the wrong direction, and Adam got around him. So, you know, he's interesting to see how mature he was in accepting that. You know, he wasn't mad up there saying, dang, you know, he just said, you know, I learned a lot. The fans were cheering me on, and I appreciate all the little kids, because that was me back in the day rooting on, you know, somebody that was winning the pro class. So it was pretty cool to see how, you know, he handled that whole situation, and yeah, he's going to win one for sure.
No doubt. As we take a look at the Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com leaderboard for the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC, it's McGill, Bryson Neal, McClure, Cole Richardson, the Cold Train. Good news for him. We didn't get a chance to talk about him a lot, but if you remember, we talked about he announced that he had Crohn's disease at the last race and was having some issues. We got some great news for him and from him. Walker Fowler finishing up in the number 5 spot. Chris Borch holds on for 6th. Another great salvage day for the former champ. Jay Shadron in 7th. He was running up front for a long time. How about it for Landon Wolf? Another solid place, 8th place finish for him. Josh Merritt 9th. And Wesley Wolf, I believe Wesley is maybe going to be our XC2 Pro-Am class winner here. Let's double check that. I know he had his hands full for him. But I know last week he was battling at the ATV motocross race there in Texas, and was actually he finished 2nd place last week in the Pro-Am class in a very, very heated race, and I believe that he may be looking at a win here today if I read that right, and we'll have to look a little bit closer there. I know Yoho was up front, but for some reason computer and scoring is lagging on this end here as they continue the celebrations down there. We see we're going to reset the podium here in just a moment, and I'm looking down through.
Yep.
Wesley Wolf is your XC2 Pro-Am winner. Kevin Yoho finished 2nd, and New York's Marty Christopherson finishing 3rd in the XC2 Pro-Am. Our top amateur today goes to College A, 16 to 24-year-old class rider, Hunter Hart. They finished 15th and 16th. He and Devin Hahn. Just 6 seconds apart for the College A win and the top amateur win, 15th and 16th overall. Wow, what a day as far as all that is concerned as we now come to a close on today's broadcast. I want to remind you to come back here in just a few moments. We got UTV racing that's going to be taken to the air here on GNCC Live. For those of you down at the podium, we'll continue with our podium presentations in just a moment. But Fred, I want to say thanks to you for being on hand with us today, and another great job.
Yeah, Ronnie had another great show, another great race. We've got another new winner. I think the points thing is going to be tightening up. Walker Fowler's got a little bit of not homework to do, but he did what he needed to do. He kept the points where they needed to be. Adam McGill, now he's on the big upswing. Bryson Neal's on a big upswing, so it's going to be interesting in the next race.
Big interesting race. It's the Bullet coming up in a couple of weeks. Be sure to check GNCCRacing.com for more details and information about that. If you're anywhere in the area, you got to come watch this race. There's no doubt about it. Hey, I want to send a shout out to the entire RacerTV.com crew today. Camera crew doing an absolutely spectacular job. Derek Garcia, Jamie Snyder, Josh Zaleski, Jordan McFadden. Also, Jacob Bett, who has been doing some technical engineering as well. Production editing there by Mitch Rosenberry, as well as some camera work. I want to say thanks to him. Also, Price Harden, our broadcast producer, and as well our technical director there, Mr. Dan Reinhardt. On behalf of Fred Andrews, Megawatt Matt Watson, I'm Rodney Tomlin saying good day, everybody.